Welcome back to Talkin Shop, a pop culture podcast. I'm Eric.
I'm Greg.
And we're talking about childhood crushes today.
Fuck yeah.
Animated or live action, doesn't matter. Could be anything. Why don't you go first?
Me first?
Yeah.
Um,
Tell me a childhood crush.
My first... I feel like I'm going to be judged, but my first real crush was Amy Wong from Futurama.
That's entirely fair.
Okay.
What was it about her that like made you go, yeah, you know what, I'd fuck that?
I honestly don't know. I think it was the fact that she was kind of ditzy, and I liked the ditzy chick. Then it was...
Not to be confused with country icons, the Dixie Chicks.
Yeah. Wide open spaces. Amy Wong was one, and then Raven from Teen Titans
that's
took
right. We've
that
talked
mantle.
about Raven and Starfire before.
She took that mantle for a really long time. Kind of stereotypical, but Daisy Duke from the Dukes of Hazzard.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Was it the original show, or was it the movie with Paris Hilton?
The original show. It was
Okay.
Jessica Simpson.
Oh, it was Jessica Simpson. That's right.
But the original show.
Hot blonde actresses in the early 2000s were interchangeable.
That's right.
If you're hearing this, Jessica Simpson, I'm sorry.
I'm not. You got fat.
Oh, fuck.
I'm fat too. I can say that. And I would. I'd say the last real crush as a. What Diplomat's a kid? Like under 18?
I'd say anywhere between the ages of like when you can really start like paying attention to movies. So I'd say like between like 4 and maybe 13, 14. So right around the time that you're like end of your toddler years into your teenage years.
Okay, the beginning of my teenage years. Frankie from Foster's Home.
That's fair.
Redheads are my weakness.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
And the fact that she was just like, whatever. I'm like, yeah, I get you.
See, you can't be judged for your first childhood crush being Amy Wong because mine actually straight up was Lola Bunny.
Ugh.
I was one of those kids that saw Space Jam and went, oh.
What about
like, here's that. I'm gonna preface
Jessica Rabbit from Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Fuck,
that red cocktail dress.
Red curvy and
Yeah.
Jessica Rabbit's fair. I'm gonna say Jessica Simpson.
I don't fuck animals, so I'm good.
I don't either. That's the thing. I'm gonna preface that by saying I'm not a furry.
Soda.
I want nothing to do with the furry community at all. But as a little kid, I thought Lola Bunny was pretty hot.
We just have like an unabashed hatred of furries.
I don't exactly have a hatred for furries. It's like any community, you know? Like, you can enjoy what you like, but don't try to, like, indoctrinate me into it, because, like, I'm not going to be part of that.
So, I actually found out that James, who I've mentioned before in this show, is a furry.
Oh.
I found out because I was helping move him into his current apartment, and I found his suit.
Oh, God.
His fursona, he calls it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I was like, what the fuck is this? He's like, I'm a furry. I'm like, oh, God.
Doesn't change your friendship none, except for the fact that, you know, he's a furry.
It doesn't. No, I'm still very much friends with him.
Yeah.
And I did ask him, though, I'm like, what the fuck is it about dressing up as an animal that...
Yeah, like, what exactly helps you get off?
And if somebody can describe that, then great, but his thing was basically, if you aren't one, I can't describe it to you. I'm like, okay, fair.
You know, that's fair. Like, it's like trying to explain, like, BDSM to somebody who's not exactly, like...
Yeah, they're like, why would you
informed of that community?
Like, why would you want a leather strap across your ass? It's like, well, if you aren't into it,
yeah,
then
exactly.
I can't explain it to you.
But no, so yeah, Lola Bunny was my first childhood crush. And then, shortly after that, I used to wake up at, like, early in the morning, because right at the end of the Adult Swim block, like around like 4 a.m., that's when they'd show anime.
Uh-huh.
And I used to wake up to watch episodes of Big O, Inuyasha, and Sailor Moon.
Oh,
Sailor Mars.
Yeah.
Sailor Mars is my fucking girl to this day. Fuck, I love Sailor Mars. She's so cool. Like, I love fiery redhead, not even redheads, just like fiery, like temperamental women. Because, like, Sailor Mars, Songo from Inuyasha, the chick with the fucking boomerang, yeah, it was all about her as well.
She'll throw a knife at you and you're arguing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, it gets me there.
It gets me.
And then, like, yeah, I'd say, like Frankie was definitely kind of up there. I still do like Starfire, but, like...
Yeah.
For different reasons now than I did when I was a kid, but she was one of my childhood crushes. Shago,
of course.
Oh my god,
Dude,
I love her.
Flip side of that, Kim. I mean...
Like, dude, black-haired, temperamental women, that was my thing when I was a kid, man.
Well, that's why... Well, Raven got me, just because, you know, big titty goth girlfriend.
Yeah,
like
no,
that
fair.
whole aesthetic. And the fact that she is, like, if she has full control of her powers, undisputed most powerful Teen
Ungodly
Titan.
power.
Like, there was, what's that guy, his whole thing was he was covered in, like, light bulbs. He was, like, Light Master or some crappy name
Dr.
like that.
Light.
Dr. Light.
Yeah, in the comics, he's a fucked up villain, by the way.
She swallowed him into a never-ending black abyss because he made her mad. Like, her dad is literally evil incarnate. Like,
you know, I'm honestly really glad that one of the few storylines DC hasn't adapted yet is Identity Crisis, because holy shit, nobody's ready for Identity Crisis yet.
no.
Let me put it this way. The entire story is about uncovering this mystery that was mind-wiped by some of the strongest magic users in the JLA, because... they decided to mind-wipe Dr. Light after they found out that he raped and murdered Elongated Man's wife.
Jesus.
Yeah. That's a fucked up story, and I'm really glad they haven't adapted that. Because I don't think anybody would be ready for that. Oh, you know what? Another childhood crush. April O'Neil.
Hell yeah,
Hell
April
yeah.
O'Neil.
God. Like, and any version of April, really. Like, the original cartoon, the 2003 cartoon, which I know we both grew up on.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Those crappy live-action movies, April O'Neil. Crappy in, like, the best way possible, though.
Honestly, like, the only real crappy one is the third one, just because, like, the second one has its fun moments, especially the fight in the nightclub with Vanilla Ice.
Isn't the third one when they go to feudal Japan, like, they somehow travel back in time? Bless you.
Yeah, not only do they travel back in time to feudal Japan, they also transport to feudal Japan. That's the thing that throws me off.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like how that works.
No, then Michelangelo's like, wait, if we die in the past, does that mean we die in the future?
Which is, oh god. Although, it's not much of a childhood crush now, but I kind of have a thing for Faye Valentine from Cowboy Bebop.
I've never watched Cowboy Bebop. All I know is See You in Space Cowboy. I know that there's, like, a fucking corgi for a mascot.
Oh, Christ.
This motherfucker got the Rona.
Yeah, no, most of my pop collection that I have, like, a good chunk of it is Cowboy Bebop, because I have everybody except Spike, because I've got Jet, I've got Vicious, I've got Ed. I have two versions of Ed, actually. I have one of just Ed and one of Ed, and I'm the corgi, and then I have Faye. And the only one I'm missing is Spike. I can't find him anywhere.
So, my night last night was interesting.
Ooh, fun.
I went to visit my mother.
Right.
And the mom who, like, watched Infinity War and was like, what the fuck? And...
Did she see Far From Home yet?
I don't believe so, no.
Oh.
And she asked me, she's like, when are the next Marvel movies coming out?
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
been almost a year since,
well,
Far From Home came out.
Like, well, Black Widow was supposed to come out, but that's delayed due to COVID.
When was that supposed to come out? Like, this month?
Relatively soon.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to come out at some point this month.
And that's delayed because of COVID. And then I'm like, well, you know, Thor's getting another movie, Love and Thunder, and...
Jane Foster's back, and she's going to be the female Thor.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
and
I'm so excited.
And Morbius is getting a movie, and she's like, who's Morbius? And so I told her, I'm like, he's a doctor with a blood condition, and he blah, blah, blah.
He experimented on himself.
He experimented on himself with vampire
scientific
bat,
vampirism.
with vampire bat stuff, and then I showed her the trailer, and she's like, holy shit.
She's excited for it.
She's like, who's he a villain for? I'm like, Spider-Man. She's like, that's a Spider-Man
Spider-Man,
villain?
Blade, like, Ghost Rider,
Yeah.
Like anybody and everybody.
And then I spent the next half an hour of my life telling my mother, in the simplest terms possible, all of Star Wars lore. Because her boyfriend Paul...
Like just the movies? Or
just the movies. Because her boyfriend Paul was like, we need to get your mom to watch Star Wars. And Mom's like, yeah, I'm not going to watch them. I'm like, Mom, you grew up. Like, when Star Wars got popular
when it was a
is
big
when
thing.
you were a kid. She's like, I think I saw the first one when it first came out, and I've never watched another one since. I'm like, why?
Yeah,
She's
no,
like,
seriously.
And she's like, I just can't get into it. I'm like, well, they're a little different now.
No,
and
yeah.
I showed her the fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin on Mustafar. And she's like, I mean, the choreography is cool, but...
What you should have done is, like, the best way I could see getting people into Star Wars now is to show them one of the TV shows. And I'd heavily recommend Clone Wars or The Mandalorian.
She knew about The Mandalorian.
Okay.
She was a little confused by it.
I was going to say, because, like, if you want to get someone into Clone Wars, you should show them some of the fight scenes from Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Especially the fight between Ahsoka and Maul in the final season. Fucking... God, I love that fight scene.
So I'm telling Mom about Star Wars, but I'm trying to make it so that she can understand. So I call Palpatine the president. I'm like, yeah, Vader, he works for the president, and the
I
president...
think it'd be more apt to call him Space Hitler. Because he's called the Supreme Chancellor
But
before he's the Emperor.
But my mom, unironically, instead of Sith Lord, she's like, so the shit lords are trying to kill the Jedi. Yes, Mom, you're closer than you think.
You just gotta switch 2 letters.
The shit lords.
Jesus Christ.
And then I showed her the Venom 2 Let There Be Carnage trailer. Yeah. She's like, oh my god, Woody Harrelson, I love Woody Harrelson. I'm like, yeah. He's Carnage in this. And she's like, what's Carnage?
Who the hell's Carnage? And then you show her a picture.
Well, I was like, Venom's a symbiote, and there's more than one symbiote. And
Venom actually has, like, multiple kids.
Yeah, and...
Well, kids, in, like, the strictest sense.
Yeah, and she's like, so are people born with it? I'm like, no, they like, find you, kind of.
Yeah.
And they'll find a person who they kind of match their personality. Like, Carnage would never attach to, like, a nun. He would attach to somebody who, like, doesn't give a fuck. And, so I showed her a bit of Venom.
Right.
And she's like, ooh, that's actually kind of cool. And then I showed her the trailer for Carnage.
Right.
And she's like, ooh.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of excited for Venom 2. And my biggest hope for it is that they do... Because, like, you can't do Carnage PG-13.
You can't.
You can't. So, like, they have to buckle down and say, yeah, this is R-rated. Like, imagine the first R-rated... technically Spider-Man movie. This is a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah. Like
that would make huge waves.
Like, I imagine... I guess if you, like, really played it close, you could. But I couldn't see how Morbius is a PG-13 movie either.
Definitely not.
I mean, he's, like...
It's like...
ripping people's throats out and shit.
I'm not, like... It's the same thing that I'm expecting with Blade. I'm not expecting it to be, like, hard R like the Wesley Snipes movies, but this is still... a comic book franchise about a guy who hunts vampires.
Yeah.
And, like, the Blade movies got away with some really cool-looking shit for R-rated movies. Like, the scene in the first movie when the dude goes to the nightclub for vampires and the sprinkler system just rains blood. God, I love that fucking scene so much.
And he's, like, trying to find the exit, but he can't.
Yeah.
And all the vampires, like, turn and look at him.
And it's like, ooh,
yeah.
Yeah, no, like, that shit's really cool. And then, like, Blade 2 had those, like, mutant vampires and, like...
Didn't Blade drink blood, garlic, and holy water margaritas? That was, like, his thing?
I don't remember, honestly. It's been so long since I've seen the movies.
I am fairly certain that he made a concoction. It was blood, holy water, and garlic.
I mean, that makes sense. The holy water and garlic probably keeps the vampirism part at bay.
But, like, the blood to help it go down.
Because, like, that's the fun thing about him being a daywalker, is that he is still technically a vampire. He's half vampire.
Yeah.
But he has none of the weaknesses. He doesn't have the strong bloodlust that a vampire has. He's not immune. He's not weak to sunlight or garlic or stakes to the heart or any of that shit.
But he also lacks some of the powers.
That's true. He's not as strong or as fast.
Yeah, so it's... yeah.
Which makes sense. Actually, I read, I bought the most recent volume of Avengers recently, and, there's a part where, all the Avengers go off into space to find the new Star Brand, which is like this super ancient entity force, kind of like the Phoenix, that attaches itself to a host of sorts. And as they're going off trying to find this new Star Brand, there's a part where Robbie, Black Widow, and Blade are all in Robbie's Hell Charger, like zooming through space trying to escape Gladiator. And as they're passing through the cosmos... Actually, no, they're not trying to escape Gladiator. They're trying to escape Silver Surfer, who is trying to kill them. It's fucking cool. So, as they're passing through, there's actually, like, they pass through a cluster of galaxies that have red suns. Blade's weak to red sun energy, because it's a much stronger breed of sunlight. And there's a really cool part where they end up having this huge fight between the Surfer and two other of Galactus' heralds to protect the Star Brand. And, like, Robbie's, Ghost Rider, so he just does his shit. Black Widow got her own custom-made War Machine armor. Nice. And there's a whole thing during the War of the Vampires arc where, like, one of the lead vampire, like, hunters has an offspring of Man-Thing that supplies a never-ending supply of wooden stakes that he fires out of a minigun.
Kind of like how in Hugh Jackman's Van Helsing, he had the crossbow that rapid-fired stakes. Yeah,
exactly. So after the War of the Vampires arc ends, Blade actually gets custody of who he calls Boy Thing, because he's not fully grown like Man Thing. And he just kind of drapes himself over Blade's shoulders the whole time, like every time he's on the page. Except now he's like combined with Blade, so now Blade has like Man-Thing armor to protect him from the sun and shit.
Imagine, and this is gonna take some real cooperative efforts, going from just the Marvel universe, like the MCU and all that.
Yeah.
But imagine, like, just for a moment, indulge me. Imagine a universe where, like, Blade, and Ghost Rider, and Punisher, and, like, maybe due to the severity of the situation, like, Morbius shows up.
It's funny you should say that.
Blade and Morbius don't like each other for obvious reasons.
Again, it's funny you should say that, because back in the 90s there was a mini crossover event between Ghost Rider, Morbius, Blade, and I think Damon Hellstrom, that was called Midnight Massacre.
Yeah.
And it's the coolest fucking shit. I have every issue of Midnight Massacre thanks to my dad. So, like, thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Peter.
It's so good. And, like, there's another story arc that happened, like, years and years and years later called Hell on Wheels. And at the end of that book, Ghost Rider, Red Hulk, and Venom, like, fuse into this big fucking monstrosity. Let me see if I can find a picture of it, because holy shit, it is so cool looking.
But yeah, imagine, like, all the most badass guys, rated R film. It can be against Blade's vampires, they're trying to curb that. It could be, maybe a warring vampires has heard about Morbius and whatever, and he's trying to get more powerful and whatever. I don't know. That's for the board directors to make, but like a rated R, bloody, fuck you movie.
Yeah, here we go.
That is utterly terrifying.
Look at that fucking monstrosity. I love it.
That is terrifying.
Oh, it's so fucking... Oh, no, it's not called Hell on Wheels. It's called Circle of Four.
Oh. I like Hell on Wheels more.
Hell on Wheels is a much better name.
But, like, the Nick Cage Ghost Rider, I mean, it was good.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it,
The
but
second one aesthetically fits Ghost Rider a lot more, but oh my god, is that movie terrible.
oh, it is. Yeah,
it's-
he operates a giant crane, and the whole crane turns into a hell
Okay,
crane
that's
or some
cool.
shit.
That's actually a power Ghost Rider has.
Whatever
Any
he-
vehicle he steps into becomes a hell vehicle.
I remember at the end of the first Ghost Rider, he picks up a shotgun and it's totally normal, but then he holds it outside
And
of
it
the
shoots
light.
hellfire.
It turns outside of the light and it turns into like hell shotgun, and
Yeah.
that's what he shoots Legion with. But
No, yeah, Ghost Rider has a lot of really cool abilities that people don't realize are a thing. Like, and every rider is different.
I know,
So, like-
I know comics are. They're rated like games and movies. Like there is like this comics for kids, this
Yeah.
comics for adults. But
That's the thing, is
just-
that a lot of the adult-rated stuff is actually set off into different imprints.
It is,
So that way
but-
it's not sold on shelves next to, like, the newest Spider-Man issue.
yeah, it is. But like I'm seriously trying to imagine a serious rated R, badass Punisher, Ghost Rider, full power, Morbius ripping people's
Yeah.
throats out, and whoever else, Punisher's there. 'Cause
Exactly.
why the fuck not?
Like, the only way I could really see that is if they started doing imprints of their own movies to fit that scenario. So, like, more like... Because, like, Marvel has a lot of series of imprints, or they did at least, before the Comics Code just kind of started blurring the lines
Just
a little bit.
the Avengers of Edge.
So back in the early 2000s, Marvel had two different imprints for their more mature but not quite mature stuff. That was Marvel Knights. So, like, Spider-Man had a couple runs, Daredevil, Elektra, I think Moon Knight as well. And then, opposite that, you had Marvel Max. That was their explicit adult shit. So, Punisher, Alias, or, the Jessica Jones original comics, like, all that shit. That was part of the Max imprint.
It just kind of tickles me how the same company that owns Guardians, which is all humor and whatnot,
Yeah.
also owns Punisher, who's shooting people in the fucking face.
Oh, it's so funny, and like that's the fun thing is that like Marvel doesn't do the imprint stuff anymore, but they've also become a lot more lax with like what can be shown on the page before it reaches mature levels. So like you can pick up a Punisher comic and yeah, it's pretty violent. It's plenty brutal. It's pseudo gory, like that kind of thing. But it's not quite to the level that Punisher Max was, because holy fuck, Punisher Max gets fucking brutal. Oh, that's something I want to see in the MCU, by the way. Not Punisher Max. So there was a run a couple of years ago where Punisher got himself a set of War Machine armor.
Of course he did.
Punisher became War Machine for a little bit after Rhodey died.
Oh my god.
And Tony did not like that. S.H.I.E.L.D. did not like that. They were like, no.
Imagine if Punisher got like a yellow lantern ring or some shit.
Honestly, given his backstory and like his vendetta against criminals, I think he'd be a Red Lantern.
Oh yeah.
Like he's
That's
just
true.
so filled with rage. It's fucking nuts. But like, honestly, that is the tricky thing now. Now that I think about it, like Marvel has a lot of edgier, like darker characters,
And quite frankly, good, because DC kind of owned the edge part for a while.
Yeah.
And now Marvel is like, okay, well,
Marvel came back
we're super
hard.
successful. We own the greatest topping box office movie of all time now,
Yeah.
which is great.
They own every topping box office movie of all time now.
Except for one. Joker, which is technically DC, just took
How much did that make?
$2 billion, I think.
Holy fuck, really?
Highest grossing rated R film of all time.
Oh my god.
So they might own every other one, but DC still holds that one.
That's fair. You know what? I didn't even think about that.
God,
Because
I
like
love
they,
that
because like now that
fucking
they own
movie.
Fox and like Paramount and like all that other shit, now they have the rights to Avatar and Titanic and like all that other shit. So yeah, like they own every topping box office movie except Joker and like maybe a few others.
It had a $62.5 million budget.
Wow. Wow, that's actually really small for a comic book movie.
Yeah.
That's super tiny. I remember Iron Man had that budget, like, back in 08.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just... Okay, so it's a little over $1 billion.
That's still
I was wrong.
big bucks for DC.
However, a lot of these articles are from damn near a year ago, so
Right.
it's possible.
I was gonna say, and that might just include domestic and not worldwide.
No, that's worldwide.
That is worldwide?
Domestically, it made about half that. So
That's still really good for a DC movie.
yeah,
Especially considering how much money they poured into movies like Batman v Superman and Justice League and how badly they bombed.
And when they made it, they're like, "Yep, it's just going to be a standalone movie. He is in no way in the Batman universe. He's not going to
Right.
become the new Joker." And then it made $1 billion fucking dollars.
You know, that's
and
the
they're
thing
like,
is that people are going
"Well."
to get confused about that because a lot of people probably think it's still in the DCEU. But, like, they should have movies like that be put off into, like, an Elseworlds variant.
Well, that's kind of what they did. I mean,
Here's the thing. Make a completely separate opening intro. Because, like, DC has their own opening intro to their movies now, like
Yeah.
Marvel does. So tweak that a little bit and give it the Elseworlds imprint.
maybe.
To show that it's a different universe. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the same thing they're doing with Robert Pattinson's Batman, is that it's also going to be in its own separate universe.
Now, it's only rumored because, you know, nothing's set in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But
Nothing's
people
set in Hollywood
people
except
are
pedophilia.
really hoping that Joaquin Phoenix is going to be Robert Pattinson's Joker.
He'd be too old by that point.
He would be.
Because Robert
Which-
Pattinson's Batman, I'm pretty sure, is in, like, somewhere near the modern day.
Yeah.
Because he's a younger man, but it also looks like a lot of his tech is more, like, modern
Yeah.
influence.
Yeah.
So,
And it's-
given the time frame of when Joker
It would
takes
be-
place, it'd be like 50 years at least.
Yeah. It's... meh.
It's wishful thinking, but honestly, I'm also fairly certain that Joker's not anywhere in the cast list for the Batman.
No, not like the upcoming movie, but just like further down the line.
like a
with it.
sequel?
I don't know,
I don't-
maybe.
I don't think that would work.
I think the age difference would be really
It'd be too
apparent.
much.
It's like, I'm watching Batman beat up a 50-year-old
I'll say, because
dude.
Christian Bale and Heath Ledger were both in their 30s by that point.
Yeah.
And Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson had maybe a 15-year age difference.
Yeah.
Give or take. So, like, yeah, that'd be way too much. Although, honestly, I do love this fucking cast for the Batman. So, here's the thing. I'm going to defend Robert Pattinson for 1 minute. Because Twilight sucks. Everybody
Yeah.
knows Twilight sucks. Even the cast of Twilight knows Twilight sucks.
His Cedric Diggory was good.
He's really good as Cedric. I saw The Lighthouse recently.
I haven't, but
Oh my god, he was fucking fantastic in that movie.
I haven't seen it, but literally every single person, people who have like widely different views on films, like whatever, people who like love a film, other people who hate that film. I've asked everybody, what's your opinion on The Lighthouse with Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe? And they've all said it's a fucking masterpiece.
It is so good.
It's black and white.
It's letterboxed, too. It's not
Yeah.
in widescreen.
Uh-huh. And they said it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, no, it's really fucking good. Like, the first scene that, like, cinched it for me that I needed to see this movie was the, you don't like my cooking scene.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know that scene.
It's such a good scene. But yeah, Robert Pattinson, really good actor outside of Twilight.
So
He might be the only good actor in the Twilight franchise, and that's kind of pathetic.
So you know what? I judged Heath Ledger pretty hard
As Joker?
Well,
Because of
when
things
it
like
was
A Knight's Tale.
Well, when it was announced that he was going to be the next Joker, don't get me wrong, I was a fan of A Knight's Tale and I was a fan of Ledger,
But you can't see a man like him being
But I was
Joker.
like, what the fuck? How's he going to be the Joker? And
It's
then
the same argument people had about Michael Keaton being Batman because the last film he did before Batman was Mr. Mom.
yeah, and that's like, oh, he turned into arguably the greatest Joker of all time.
Yeah.
So
Exactly, and I had my doubts about Ben Affleck being Batman because, like,
fuck him. He was a bad Batman.
he was a really good
Okay,
Batman.
let me put a slight addendum on that. Physically, he very much fit the part.
Oh god, he looks great.
Fundamentally, he was an awful
I did like the one change they made to his Batman that made him different. They didn't give him the fucking bat growl that Bale had. They gave him a voice modulator. I think that works a lot better. I think realistically...
Yeah, he also killed like 30 people.
Okay,
and Batman doesn't
that I
kill
fucking
people.
hate. That I fucking hate.
He also
Zack Snyder
wanted-
doesn't understand.
He also wanted to openly murder Superman. Now, don't get me wrong, fuck Superman, I hope he dies, but...
He had a reason to as well. Like, his mentality was, this guy is too dangerous to be left unchecked.
Yeah,
I have to stop him.
To stop one guy, he'll collapse a fucking building and kill 30 people. He doesn't care.
Yeah, right?
He's sloppy. Which, anyway.
But no. So, yeah, Robert Pattinson as Batman, I have hope for. Just because every other actor that I've seen portraying a certain Batman character, I've had my doubts about, and they've ended up doing really, really well.
Yeah.
So, Robert Pattinson's Batman has my vote, especially in that costume test. That costume looks great. Colin Farrell as the Penguin. He's a good actor. I think he can pull off that suave, like, high-end sophistication that the Penguin calls for. It's just my thought whenever I see Penguin in anything is short, fat, sounds like he smoked 20 packs a day.
Well, that's the thing. Colin Farrell, he's not a bad-looking guy, whereas Cobblepot, I mean, literally, he's short and stubby and he's literally...
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah,
my first thought outside of the comics when I think of Penguin is Danny DeVito in Batman Returns.
No, they did go tall, lanky Penguin in the Gotham show.
Which I guess works as well.
Like, I kind of pulled it off.
I don't like anything about Gotham. I think a lot of it does not work and it makes no sense. But I will give it credit that a lot of the actors in that show really, really try their hardest.
Well, also, I mean, that show is 20 years pre-Batman.
Yeah.
Grace is a kid, so...
let's see who else. Oh yeah, Zoe Kravitz is playing Catwoman. She's a really good actress. She was in Mad Max Fury Road. She was in X-Men First Class. Like she was MJ in Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
So like her as Catwoman, I'm all for that. I think that's great. Jason Momoa's stepdaughter is Catwoman. Fuck yeah.
Bills yeah.
Like I wish I was joking. I actually didn't know that Jason Momoa's wife is Lenny Kravitz's ex-wife. His stepdaughter is almost as old as him. It's fucking hilarious. Andy Serkis is Alfred. Fucking Gollum.
Paul Dano is the Riddler.
Peter Sarsgaard in it being pretty cool. John Turturro, pretty great. Jeffrey Wright is James Gordon. I'm all for that. Like...
Paul Dano, he'll be a good Riddler. I can tell.
He looks the part. He looks like he would be a good Riddler.
Literally the only Riddler I have to go on is Jim Carrey's Riddler.
Yeah, exactly. Like, straight up, the only actors that have any sort of credited role as a hero or villain or otherwise are, like, big names. Like, big names.
Dave Bautista admits he wanted to play Bane in the Batman, however, he also confirmed it's not happening.
I'm okay with that. Honestly, having just Penguin, Riddler, and Catwoman in the cast alone is good enough for a Batman movie. If they add more villains, that's fine. My biggest hope, my absolute biggest hope for this fucking movie is that they finally make a Batman movie that is more detective-based and not badass crime fighter-based. Because god fucking damn it, there are not enough scenes of Batman being a detective in any of the Batman
World's
movies.
greatest detective.
He's the world's greatest detective. Where are my detective scenes?
They just always chalk it up to he looks at a gadget he made for a couple of minutes.
Like, look, you want to make a crime drama or like a noir film out of Batman? Sure, fine, that's great. You know, include a couple action scenes. Have a couple scenes where Batman's beating up muggers or whatever. That's great. I'm all for that. He's still a detective. Let him detect. Just once. Just fucking one. Like, there's maybe 3 scenes I remember out of the entirety of every Batman film where he's an actual detective for a moment. There's a scene in the 1989 Batman movie. There's a scene in The Dark Knight when he's piecing together the bullet caliber and like test firing it in cinder blocks.
Yeah.
Like, there's that shit. And then in Batman v Superman, he has an entire like montage of him doing detective work, figuring out how to stop Superman while he's doing his fucking P90X workouts. And like, you know what? That's cool. I love those scenes. Those scenes make me so happy. It's like with any superhero movie where they have a scene where the hero just is a hero and fucking saves somebody. I love superhero movies that can show a scene of heroes saving the day, even if it's just like a couple people. Like there's that scene in Iron Man 3 where he like plots out the trajectory to like grab all the fucking plane attendants or whatever and like grabs them and sets them into the ocean. That's fucking cool. Yeah. Spider-Man doing literally anything to save the day fucking gets me there. That's so good. Like, I want comic book movies to be a little more comic booky.
Yeah, it's not just an action movie with a familiar skin.
It's not just an action movie, and you know what? Sometimes if you want to have a drama of some kind, that's fine. Or a spy thriller. Like Captain America the Winter Soldier is a pretty decent spy thriller. It's also filled with comic book bullshit that makes it so much less realistic. Like, are you seriously going to say that somewhere in the real world there's some secret hidden computer with the mind of a Nazi scientist? And that this secret Nazi organization took over the US government over the course of like 50 fucking years? No.
Honestly,
that's fucking stupid.
Surprise me.
No, it wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah, you know, I haven't been happy with the last Batman for a lot of reasons. Pattinson, I hope he's better.
I really do. I hope he's just as good as Bale and Keaton and like...
So I didn't know The Dark Knight is in like the top 5 greatest films ever.
Yeah.
Up there with like Citizen Kane and
which
things like
feels
that.
like kind of a stretch when you compare it with shit like Citizen Kane or Metropolis or like any of those movies. Because it is coming down out there.
Yeah, we got a fucking hurricane here.
I actually heard it when it touched down in Florida that it turned into a tropical storm. So it's not a hurricane anymore.
You couldn't just let me have that, could
Nah.
you?
Nah. We're not spreading misinformation.
This is what I have to deal with, folks.
Hey, you want to be my co-host?
That's
Yeah,
now the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie as it was.
Yeah.
I loved that movie more than words can say. It was just, I went to the theaters.
I did too. I went to go see it with one of our friends, actually.
Yeah, I went to see it with my buddies from high school and my D&D group, and it's funny because we went to there was like a Dollar Tree or something right across the street, so we just filled the sleeves of our sweatshirts with boxes of like Skittles.
I was gonna
and
say you went
shit.
to the theater in Claremont, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to the one in BF just because it was closer.
Yeah, and it was so beautiful.
It's a truly gorgeous movie.
It's beautiful, and
it's incredibly well acted.
When they insinuate that Thomas Wayne might be his dad.
Yeah.
And then, he finds out that not only is he not Thomas Wayne's son, he's also not his mom's son.
Right.
She adopted him, and she was, like, mentally unhealthy. And, oh, my God, it's so good.
Yeah. So, like...
You got what you fucking deserve!
So, like, I decided to look it up just because, like, I wanted to see what certain rankings were. So, The Hollywood Reporter has a list of the top 100 greatest movies of all time, according to their website. Number 100, bottom of the barrel, Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai.
Never heard of it.
Fantastic fucking movie, and if you haven't seen Seven Samurai and you don't like Japanese movies, you can always watch its American Western remake, The Magnificent Seven. I'm dead serious. It got fucking remade in America and turned into a spaghetti western. It's still a fantastic movie, but like if you owe it to yourself to watch Seven Samurai, it is a fantastic fucking movie. Let's see, Bonnie and Clyde by Arthur Penn. I have not seen that movie. Reservoir Dogs. Airplane.
Okay.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Okay.
Down for that. Dr. Zhivago. I have seen that movie. It is a beautiful film. It's also like 3 hours fucking long. It is so long. The Deer Hunter.
Okay.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Up. Up. Number 92.
Wow.
Rocky. Not Rocky 2 or anything
Just
like Rocky 1. Memento. Braveheart.
Yeah. Okay.
Slumdog Millionaire.
You know. Yeah.
I actually don't mind that movie. It's not bad.
Yeah,
It's a pretty good movie. I also found it incredibly jarring that they had a Bollywood dance sequence at the end.
Yeah,
Oh my god, it's so good. Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, number 87.
Hell yeah.
Beauty and the Beast,
The
animated one.
The original one?
Yeah. 7. Yeah. Inception. Die Hard.
I'm sorry, Inception.
Inception, I think, is a little too bloated for my taste. It's a good movie, but I don't think it's nearly as good as people should give it credit for.
I'm not going to say it doesn't belong on the list because people who critique movies are better than me, but
it probably should have been a little lower.
There are a couple movies you just listed that should have been.
Yeah. Die Hard is above that.
Okay.
Fellowship of the Ring.
Really?
So, Two Towers is going to be higher, but that's because Two Towers is the best movie in the trilogy.
It is the best.
Two Towers has that excellent blend of character and world building and action that the other two movies don't have, because Fellowship is pretty much all character and world building to get up to the point at the end of the movie when Sam and Frodo go off on their own little journey. And Boromir dies. Two Towers just picks up on that and has 3 divergent storylines that come together in Return of the King, which is just 3 hours of action. It's not 3 hours of bad action. It's still a really good movie. But Two Towers is objectively the best movie in the trilogy. By far. What else we got? Amadeus. That's a fucking fantastic movie. On the Waterfront. I haven't seen that. Marlon Brando's in it, though, so... WALL-E. WALL-E's a good movie. I like WALL-E. 12 Angry Men. That's a good movie. It's 12 men in a jury... that are on jury duty trying to figure out if a man is innocent or guilty. That's the whole movie. And it's just them slowly just fucking losing their minds because they look through the evidence and everyone's in agreement that the man's guilty except one dude. And so they have to look through it all again.
It has to be unanimous.
It has to be unanimous. And it's a fantastic film. Ghostbusters, number 77. Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, fuck you. Fuck you.
Bridge on the River Kwai. That's a good movie.
I don't think it's a bad movie, but there is no fucking way Brokeback Mountain is better than the first 2 Lord of the Rings.
Blazing Saddles.
2 of the... Who the fuck made this list?
Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah, I could make a page that says Hollywood Reporter tomorrow.
All the President's Men. I haven't seen that. Young Frankenstein.
Saw that play. It was great.
You saw the play?
Dad and his girlfriend brought me to Boston, and we watched it, and it was very beautifully done. It was really funny.
Nice. Almost Famous. That's a good movie. Vertigo. That's also pretty good. Gladiator. Yeah, okay.
Gladiator, right.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Fuck yes. I love that movie.
Avatar.
To its...
The Blue People.
I thought you fucking meant Avatar: The Last Airbender. I was...
No, God.
Fine, the blue one, fine. I thought you meant Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I was gonna fucking...
The Lion King.
I was gonna burn down my nearest Applebee's or something. Or something.
Let's see, we got Lion King, Raging Bull, Mary Poppins, Groundhog Day.
Okay.
North by Northwest. I haven't seen that one. I love Cary Grant, but I don't want to watch North by Northwest. I'm not a fan of Hitchcock's movies most of the time. Psycho's good, The Birds is good, Vertigo's pretty good. I haven't seen Rear Window yet, but I heard that one's great. West Side Story. I'll give it that. Amelie. Amelie's a fantastic fucking movie. Thelma and Louise. I had no idea that movie was directed by Ridley Scott. Holy shit. That's great. Sunset Boulevard, I've heard that one's great. Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Number 57.
Huh.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That is a depressing fucking movie. It's so good. Like, Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet do a fantastic job in that fucking movie, but it is so depressing. Taxi Driver. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Good Will Hunting. All About Eve. I haven't seen that one. Big Lebowski, number 51. It is at the top of the bottom 50. And then at number 50, Jurassic Park. Let's see. Yeah. Rear Window. I just talked about that. The Usual Suspects.
Okay.
Some Like It Hot. The only good thing about that movie is that Marilyn Monroe is hot, but like, Marilyn Monroe's a shit actress.
Whoa!
Marilyn Monroe?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Marilyn Monroe is a shit actress and she's a shit human being.
Okay, are you ready for that? I zoned out for a second.
You thought I said Marilyn Manson?
No, I thought you said Meryl Streep.
Oh, no. I love Meryl Streep.
I was going to be like, whoa.
Saving Private Ryan.
That's a good movie.
Titanic, number 45. I expect like every single like news outlet and critic and everyone to suck Titanic's dick, but like I'm pleasantly surprised that it's at number 45. I like that. Good job. The Matrix.
I don't have an opinion.
And what's really nice is that when this list came out, both the Wachowskis went through their sex changes, so they actually credit them properly.
Sweet.
Which is nice. Toy Story.
Yeah.
Alien.
Game over, man.
No. Alien. Oh. Not Aliens. Psycho. I knew it was going to be in there somewhere.
It's...
Fight Club.
I'm not saying that any of these movies don't deserve to be on the list.
A lot of them deserve to have their places changed just because of personal preference.
But it's just...
We're looking at... Like, you and I are kind of looking at this personally and not critically.
I look at it through, my opinions. And it's just like... how do you have fucking WALL-E above the Lord of the Rings movies? Like,
two of the Lord of the Rings movies.
But that's still 2/3 of the fucking Lord of the Rings movies.
The Shining.
Yeah, we get it. Pollution's bad, but The Shining, good movie.
When Harry Met Sally, fantastic comedy. That's really good. Doctor Strangelove. Oh, I love Doctor Strangelove.
I know.
One of Kubrick's best movies. I fucking love it. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Number 36.
Again, how the fuck?
Clockwork Orange.
At least that movie has...
American Beauty. Haven't seen American Beauty.
I also have not.
It came out when I was 3, so that gives me some slack. Fargo. That's a fantastic movie.
That was a show, I think.
There is a show right now.
Yeah.
But back in 96, the Coen brothers made Fargo. And the Coen brothers had another movie on this list, and that was Big Lebowski. Empire Strikes Back, number 32.
Fair
enough. Princess Bride, right above that. Entirely fair.
Entirely fair.
Entirely fair.
The Princess Bride is... Well, I guess you could say all of these are cult classics.
Absolutely.
But The Princess Bride is like...
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Of course.
Blade Runner. Yeah.
I just don't...
I'll take its place, too. It's right in the top 30. I'll take it. Blade Runner's in the top 30. That's fine. The Graduate. That's a good fucking movie. Breakfast Club. That should be lower. Fuck Breakfast Club.
What do you got against Breakfast Club?
I hate that movie. It's one of John Hughes' worst movies.
What do you specifically have against it, though?
It's such a nothing movie.
It's about 5 teens who, learn about each other and find things out about themselves
but you don't
while
find
going
out...
for a Saturday detention.
Right, but you don't really find out most of that shit until, the last third of the movie, so the first 2/3 of them just putzing about doing nothing. It's boring. There's 2 scenes in that movie I love. There's the dance scene in the library, and there's the scene where they're all in the circle talking about their deepest, darkest secrets. Those 2 scenes are really good. The rest of Breakfast Club is boring as shit.
What about when Judd Nelson's getting threatened by the principal and he's like, if you think you're so fucking tough, then hit me.
Okay, that one's fine too, but that's because Judd Nelson and the guy who plays the principal, whose name escapes me...
Dustin Hoffman.
That's not Dustin Hoffman.
That is Dustin Hoffman.
It is not. I will look it up right now. because he's also in Not Another Teen Movie, and he doesn't look like Dustin Hoffman. I swear to God, it is not. Like, he looks like Ben Mendelsohn, honestly.
To me, he looks like Dustin Hoffman.
Fuck. What?
I got you for 2 weeks!
Paul Gleason.
Diet Dustin Hoffman.
Breakfast Club, Not Another Teen Movie, Die Hard, because he was the police chief.
I never saw Die Hard.
You haven't seen Die Hard?
No.
Dude!
I haven't seen it, and...
Alright, well, we're not going to watch it today just because I reserved that movie for Christmas.
It's a Christmas
movie. It is. Shut up. It is a Christmas movie. I will die on that hill. It takes place on Christmas Eve. They make Christmas jokes. The first song that plays in the movie is Christmas in... I think it's called Christmas in Hollywood or something. It's by a rap group. Like, Christmas is fucking everywhere in that movie. It is a goddamn Christmas movie. I will die on that hill. I will fucking die on that hill.
Jesus Christ. Get a nerve.
Singing in the Rain, number 26.
Singing in the Rain.
That's fair. Singing in the Rain's a great movie. Top 25. Number 25. The Sound of Music.
I can
entirely fair.
I can respect it being in the top 25.
Sound of Music is a fantastic musical, and it's one of my absolute favorites. Jaws.
I feel like I know what number 1's going to be, but I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah. Jaws is number 24.
Again, absolutely.
Like, these are classics now. We're hitting classics territory.
These are like they got 5 stars shit.
Yeah, so Sound of Music, Jaws, Lawrence of Arabia.
Yep.
Another 3-hour movie I haven't sat down to watch yet. Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins, baby.
And Jodie Foster. Fantastic movie. Great fucking movie.
Hello, Clarice.
Chinatown.
I've seen.
Fucking great movie. It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Everybody's seen It's a Wonderful Life.
An actual Christmas movie.
Shut up. Goodfellas.
I love that movie.
Goodfellas is so good. Oh my god.
So good.
Annie Hall.
Haven't seen it.
Apocalypse Now.
Yeah. I mean...
To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird, yeah. Apocalypse Now,
Gone with the Wind. Yeah. Georgia Pride right here.
Why'd you do the hang loose pinky thumb?
Because that's just what I do. That's what I do when I'm like, yeah, alright. I just do that. Yeah, Gone with the Wind, fantastic fucking movie. It's also... If I do the math, it's almost 100 years old now. So, like, yeah, it's an old movie. It's great, though. I love it. It's fantastic. Forrest Gump.
Yes.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay.
Back to the Future.
Fuck yes.
Star Wars. A New Hope.
A New Hope.
Just
yes.
Star Wars. The very first one. That's number 11. Here's the top 10. Schindler's List.
Dark film, but I understand why it's there.
It's one of Spielberg's best, honestly.
It is, and that's saying something with Spielberg.
2001: A Space Odyssey, a movie my mom fucking hates. Every time she tries to watch that movie, she falls asleep in the first 30 minutes because the Dawn of Man scenes are too boring to her.
Space, the final frontier.
E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Fuck E.T. I hate that movie.
Why?
I hate it so much.
Why?
It's just, there's something about it I don't like. Like, I don't...
It has Drew Barrymore when she's like 9.
And that's supposed to mean something to me?
I mean, no, but...
No. Here's the thing. I don't think it's a bad movie by any means. I also don't think it's as good as everyone makes it out to be. It's just kind of an okay movie. Like, I think the design for E.T. is unique and interesting, and I think he looks really cool. And I do like this scene where he's, like, stumbling around the house, like, just fucking with shit. I think that's great, but, like, all the kid characters just ends up being, like, really annoying sometimes. And
they're kids, of course
I
they're
don't
annoying.
understand the whimsy and wonder that the movie presents. Like, even as a kid, I didn't like that shit.
Well, of course they're annoying. They're kids.
Like, I don't really like much about that movie, and to, like, make it that special to me. I don't think it's a bad movie. If anybody likes that movie, to each their own. You know, that's what opinions are for. But, like, I don't like that movie. I really, really don't.
Okay.
And I'm sorry to people who do.
Okay.
Godfather Part 2. number 7.
Hell yeah.
Casablanca. Fair.
Yeah.
Big dick status.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. Pulp Fiction at number 5.
Pulp Fiction is amazing.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I mean, if you're not, like, watching it, it's a little hard to follow.
It's really confusing because everything's told out of sequence.
They do time skips and all that.
That's actually one of the few movies I can say really does, like, telling a story out of sequence well.
So, do you know the really popular theory on what's in the suitcase?
It's his soul.
His soul.
It's Marcellus Wallace's soul.
Yeah.
And I totally get that.
Because he sold it for the money and power he has.
Yeah.
And he wants his men to get his soul back so he doesn't lose anything. And because...
You shot Marvin?
Oh god, I shot Marvin in the face. But because he's technically stealing his soul away back from the devil, that's why God stopped the bullets from hitting Julius and I can't remember the other characters. Vincent.
Vincent, yep.
So Julius
because he's
Vincent.
related to Michael Madsen's character from Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, so that's why he caused the bolts to miss, and it was divine intervention, is because he's stealing a soul from the devil.
There is a lot of spiritual talk in that movie, too. Like, especially with Jules and, like...
Yeah, and you will know my name is the Lord!
When I lay my vengeance upon
thee!
Shawshank Redemption, number 4.
Yeah, I can get that.
Citizen Kane at number 3.
I thought Citizen Kane was going to be number 1.
You thought that was going to be number 1?
Citizen Kane, for some reason, is the movie that all the critics just suck its dick all the time.
Take a guess at one of the most beloved movies of all time. What is number 2?
The number 2 most beloved movie of all time?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hard fucking question, but my guess...
Because you're not going to guess number 1.
I'm probably not going to guess number 1. Number 2. Fuck me.
It's a classic.
Fuck.
AMC plays it like every other fucking day. It came out in the 30s.
Oh, it came out in the 30s?
Yeah.
Well, that does narrow it down. They've already had Casablanca.
Yep.
They've already had The Birds. They've already had Psycho. They've already said Citizen Kane. Fuck me. I'm not exactly, fluent on films 90 years ago. Oh, God. Oh, God, I'm thinking myself into a headache right
Do you want me to tell you?
No,
You son of a bitch, cat.
Fizzgate, god damn it.
Alright, you keep thinking about that. I'm gonna pick my guitar back up. You asshole. You fucking asshole.
Movies that came out when my grandparents were 4.
God, that really puts
The only other one I know is, like, The World Goes On.
It's Wizard of Oz.
Oh, motherfucker!
Wizard of Oz at number 2. I gotta grab a washcloth.
Fuck.
Do you want to take a guess at what number 1 is?
Well, if Citizen Kane was number 3...
It's one of your all-time favorite movies.
It's one of my all-time favorites?
Yes. When we talked about this, like 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
It's one of your all-time favorite movies.
One of my all-time favorites?
Yep.
Talked about it 2 weeks ago. They've already had Godfather 2. Is it Godfather 1?
It's Godfather 1.
Godfather 1!
Godfather 1 is number 1 on Hollywood Reporter's top 100 movies of all time.
I mean, I can understand that, though. I mean, you know, Marlon Brando, a young Al Pacino, Robert Duvall.
Exactly. Ooh. Here's another one. According to Business Insider, according to, what is it, Metacritic scores.
That's the list that I was looking up
The top 50.
Before my phone died.
Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I haven't seen that one yet. Heard it's really good for an art film. Toy Story. Beauty and the Beast. Wow, shocker. 2 Disney movies in a row.
Yeah.
Spirited Away.
Wait, Spirited Away?
Number 47.
Oh, that movie.
Fantasia.
Again, that movie.
Fair. Gravity. I haven't seen Gravity.
I haven't either.
Mean Streets. I haven't seen that either. Grapes of Wrath. I fucking hate that book, so I refuse to watch that movie.
Did you see the South Park spinoff on that? So
Did South Park did a spinoff on Grapes of Wrath?
At the time, Mr. Garrison gives them the book,
Oh,
and they're like,
no.
we're gonna read Grapes of Wrath, and Cartman's like, wait, isn't that the book that the guy who shot John Lennon read? And,
oh, yeah, and Butters
and
has the
Mr.
whole note
and
thing
Mr.
where he goes, kill John Lennon!
And Mr. Garrison's like, yes, the guy who killed John Lennon read the book. It doesn't have anything. It's not related, blah, blah, blah. And then Butters is reading it in his room later that night, and he puts it down. He's like, kill John Lennon. And then he goes to his dad. He's like, Dad, where does John Lennon live?
John Lennon's
well, Dad bought us. And he goes, hamburgers. And then it's like a regular episode for the rest of the show. And then they were doing a spoof on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and Butters kicks open their door with a shotgun,
Yeah.
and he blows away all the Kardashians. He's like, kill the Kardashians!
Number 42, Parasite. I haven't seen that yet.
That like just came out.
It came out last year. I love Bong Joon-ho's movies though. Like I love Old Boy. That's a fucking fantastic movie. So like I'm excited to finally sit down and watch Parasite someday. It's not going to be anytime soon.
I've seen the anime. I haven't seen the movie.
For
Parasite.
Oh, well that's a completely different thing.
Oh.
Yeah. Parasite the movie is more about like the differences in social class and like all that shit. Parasite the Maxim is just uber gore. Ratatouille, number 41.
I love Ratatouille. That's a good movie.
Nashville, haven't seen that.
Me neither.
12 Years a Slave, haven't seen that.
Me neither.
Benedict Cumberbatch is really good in that movie though, as a plantation owner. The Maltese Falcon, haven't seen that. Which is a shame because I'm pretty sure Cary Grant's in that movie, and I love Cary Grant. Rosemary's Baby, classic horror movie. Really good horror movie.
I haven't seen it.
Really, really good. Manchester by the Sea, haven't seen that either.
I am really uncultured. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, same. 12 Angry Men popped up. There we go. Ran. Oh, yeah, that's a Japanese film. I haven't seen that yet. Killer of Sheep. Haven't even heard of that one.
I haven't heard of most of these.
Roma. That came out 2 years ago. It's on Netflix. Really good. Really good Spanish film. Dumbo. American Graffiti. Look,
Top 50 though.
Look, George Lucas has like a couple good films. American Graffiti's like really scratching the edge of that. American Graffiti is not great, but it is also the first movie that Harrison Ford was ever in. So, you gotta give it some credit there. It's just meant to be a little slice of 50s Americana. But it's not a good slice of 50s Americana, because guess who wrote and directed the film? George Lucas. Fuck you. Streetcar Named Desire. Oh, love that play. Love that play. Love Marlon Brando. Great movie. Top notch. Psycho.
Yeah.
What do you know? 4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days. Never heard of that. Gone with the Wind. Come on. Doctor Strangelove. Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God.
The Third Man. Talk about another Orson Welles movie. The Third Man is a really good noir. It is such a good movie. I love that movie. My Left Foot.
Fuck.
It's a Daniel Day-Lewis movie where he's like paralyzed with cerebral palsy and shit. The Wild Bunch. One of the goriest westerns ever made. Super good. Hoop Dreams. Came out in 94. Yep, never heard about that. All About Eve. What a shot. Rashomon. Another good Japanese movie. North by Northwest. You know what I haven't seen on these lists yet? Fucking Godzilla. Some Like It Hot, Pan's Labyrinth.
Don't get me wrong, I have a major hard-on for Godzilla, but none of his movies.
The original Godzilla is still really good if you watch the original Japanese one. Because the American one had some super popular American actor at the time giving a color commentary of the movie because they didn't want to show too many scenes of the widespread destruction. For whatever fucking reason. Well, still acted really, really well because I'm pretty sure it's Rod Stewart.
Back then, people were really...
Yeah.
Pussies.
I mean, it was only 9 years after the bombs were dropped, so it's still a little fresh in people's minds.
Yeah.
Like, that's the big thing. And, like, that's the whole message of the original Godzilla is don't play with nuclear anything.
Yeah, Godzilla's origin.
Bad shit will happen.
Godzilla's origin, before they made it so that he was an ancient being, was he was...
And then retconned it again.
And then retconned it
like
again.
5 times.
Was that he was a product of the nuclear fallout from...
That's actually the explanation they give in Shin Godzilla as well, is that instead of a nuclear bomb, it's actually spillage from a nuclear power plant that went into the oceans and mutated this, like, a surprisingly still living ancient, like, lizard creature thing.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, never heard of that. Touch of Evil, I have heard of that. I have not seen it. Pinocchio.
Okay.
Pretty much all old Disney movies except Ratatouille.
Yeah.
Like, that's weird. Intolerance. Heard of that one. That one's really good. Moonlight. Seen that one. Holy fuck, Moonlight's good. It's really good if you like dramas, if you like period pieces, or if you're a fan of the storytelling that gay films give you. Like, seriously, I haven't seen many films with LGBT, like, representation as main characters in the movies, but the ones I have seen have been top-notch. So, Moonlight, Call Me By Your Name, Blue's the Warmest Color, fucking fantastic films. All really, really good, and I recommend seeing it. City Lights. Nope. It's a Chaplin movie, but I don't watch much of Chaplin, so... Singing in the Rain. Notorious, heard of that one. Vertigo. Three Colors Red. Nope. Boyhood. Heard of that. Haven't seen it. Casablanca. Shocked. Rear Window. Fucking shocker. The Godfather. And number 1, Citizen Kane.
I don't know what the fuck it is about Citizen Kane that makes people think it's...
It's an okay movie. Honestly, like, it's not as good as people make it out to be these days.
The angry video game nerd at Cinemassacre, he was... I saw a video he did about Citizen Kane where he's like, I studied film in college.
Yeah.
Like, I make jokes and I swear a lot and blah, 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 but I'm a real critic. I know what to look for to accurately critique a film.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, I had to watch Citizen Kane over and over and over because that was the ultimate film.
Yeah.
He's like,
it was one of the best films ever made. And
he's like, I do not think it is that special.
No. It's just a somewhat okay drama about a man's life.
Yeah.
And not even that. Like, Orson Welles, still a fantastic actor, God rest his soul. Like, he's one of the best actors of all time. But my God, Citizen Kane does not deserve the recognition it gets, and people need to stop sucking its dick. Because, holy God, if I hear or see one more list where Citizen Kane is damn near at the top, I'm gonna fucking scream. People jump on the I Love Citizen Kane train for the clout. And that's it. Like, oh my God. Fuck you, Citizen Kane. Rosebud was the name of his sled. There, I spoiled it.
I saved you 2 long, boobless hours.
Pretty much.
Rosebud.
Although, there is actually a fun little behind-the-scenes thing about that, where, when he drops the snow globe, it wasn't actually supposed to shatter. And when it did, he got super pissed because it was actually his mom's.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of actors getting super pissed.
Christian Bale's freak out. Christian Bale's
freak out.
Christian Bale freakouts in general, but especially with the Terminator Salvation one.
Oh, he was like ready to fucking hit a dude. Like,
dude, it's a Terminator movie. It's not even a good Terminator movie.
There hasn't been a good Terminator movie since Judgment Day. You cannot change my mind.
Okay, here's
You cannot change my mind.
Okay,
you cannot change my mind.
Judgment Day is the best Terminator movie. I think the last truly good one was Rise of the Machines, just because it's a fun movie. I like fun over good storytelling any day, and that's actually why I liked Dark Fate, the most recent Terminator movie. Dark Fate was surprisingly pretty good.
That's also why you like most of the shit X-Men movies, though.
You mean the ones that everyone says are shit because Wolverine's not in them?
Not because Wolverine's not in them, because they get the script rewritten every 2 days. And
that's also true, and that makes for a messy film. But here's the thing: First Class, great movie, really, really good movie. It's honestly one of the best X-Men movies. Like, fucking yeah, First Class is great. Apocalypse has some weird storytelling moments that make it a little less than good. But I am actually a firm defender of Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse because I wasn't expecting, this realistic X-Men universe. I'm not expecting some 7'5", like 300-pound blue Egyptian gorilla of a man. I'm not expecting the main villain to look like that. I'm expecting him to look out of place and out of time. And guess what? He looks pretty fucking out of place. And it works. Like, Apocalypse is great. Dark Phoenix sucks ass. It's actually worse than The Last Stand. Because A, it's boring as hell, and B, filmmakers need to stop adapting storylines from comics that should take multiple movies to build up. You can't give me the little teaser of Jean becoming the Phoenix at the end of Apocalypse and then just go straight into her becoming the Dark Phoenix. The comics didn't even have a turnaround that quickly.
Well, I mean, you're trying to convert, a
Jean,
several issues comic.
I was Jean was the Phoenix for years before she snapped. So, like...
It's the same thing as trying to convert a book into a movie. You only have so much time.
That's true, and that's one of the reasons why I fucking hate movies like Aragon. God, fuck Aragon.
I mean, I liked the book.
The book's great.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that book. And, it's... some people say that Harry Potter was kind of shittily adapted.
Harry Potter only started... I don't hate the Harry Potter movies that much. A lot of the changes they make are mostly just to get the story moving along. Like, them getting rid of Peeves the Ghost, fine. He was only really there for comedic purposes in the book anyway. So, like, I don't care that Peeves is gone. That's fine. Whatever. I could have done without them having Dobby in the movies at all. Fuck Dobby.
What's wrong with you?
No, fuck that. Fuck that little hairless scrotum of a character.
What is wrong with you?
No. Dobby serves almost no purpose. He was constantly there in Chamber of Secrets just to fuck with Harry and be like, no, you shouldn't come to Hogwarts. Don't do it. And he keeps trying to find, like, multiple ways to, like, get him to not go to Hogwarts. And it never works. And Harry ends up saving his life at the end of the fucking movie. And the book. Only for him to die, like, 5 books later.
Well, that's
because he...
called building, man.
He's in there. He's in, like... I think 2 of the other books besides Deathly Hallows for, like, a couple of scenes because he lives at the Black House and lives there with Creature.
He works at Hogwarts.
Does he work at Hogwarts?
I
thought he worked at the Black House.
No,
I thought he was there with Creature.
In the books, Dobby works at Hogwarts because Gandalf pays him 50 galleons a week.
Oh, that's right. Okay, you know what? That's another thing I'm really glad the books took out is Hermione's, like, social activist look at the house elf thing because, like, that would have bloated the fucking movies. And it would have made them so much more boring.
Well, then there was Creature, who was the house elf that didn't want freedom.
Creature looks like an old man's hairless scrotum.
Yeah, but he didn't want freedom to the point where they threatened him with freedom.
Yeah.
Creature, go do this. No. I'll give you clothes, and he's like, and he'd go do it.
But, like, no, I think up to Goblet of Fire, the Harry Potter books are adapted really well into movies.
That's the one that everybody harps on.
Goblet of Fire, I think, only has one scene that makes it out of place, and it's the Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire moment.
And instead
because in the book, Dumbledore's Dumbledore. He's like, Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? Like, he's asking him. He's not confronting him. And in the movie, fucking Michael Gambon shows up and is like, Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? Like, no, that scene does not work. Everything else in Goblet of Fire is just fine. It's a good adaptation. But
also,
after Goblet of Fire is also where I have a problem with the books because the books just get steadily darker leading to the end, and there's not enough of that, like, whimsy and charm of the first 4 books, and it makes it a jarring shift.
Also,
so when you watch the movies, it suddenly just jumps right into that.
Also, the Death Eaters, they're not supposed to have the tattoo on their wrists. They're supposed to have, the dudes are supposed to have them on the shaft of their dicks, and the chicks are supposed to have them tattooed right above their labias. And that's fucking true.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Was that something J.K. Rowling came up with?
She wrote it, so yeah. But then it got retconned for obvious fucking reasons.
Well, yeah, because you don't want Lucius Malfoy whipping out his dick.
Oh.
like
It's like they're, the Death Eaters are having a meeting or whatever. They all have to prove.
All they do is just whip their dicks out on the table.
Just.
Oh, that'd be great. But honestly, the Harry Potter movies aren't terrible, and they're really good adaptations of the books. I refuse to acknowledge Harry Potter much these days, though, because J.K. Rowling is a fucking TERF, so fuck her.
What do you have against J.K. Rowling?
She's transphobic.
But she, made Dumbledore gay and shit.
After the books came out.
Oh,
Her whole life up to this point has pretty much been retconning the universe to any capacity that she can in her own personal headcanon instead of maybe re-editing and re-releasing the books with this new information.
I saw some really funny shit. They were obviously jokes, but somebody photoshopped it so it looked like she tweeted out all this stuff. It's like Hermione was an anti-vaxxer. Hagrid ate ass like it was his job.
Okay, no, that one I can believe.
That one was true.
That one I can't believe. Hagrid probably does eat ass.
I don't know, man. He's pretty gentlemanly.
Okay, but did you see him macking on that giant chick from Bobottons in the fourth movie?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Oh.
He was like...
Love me a giant woman.
Oh. God.
But no, Aragon's a shit book adaptation.
Yeah.
Harry Potter, pretty decent book adaptation. And then there's the book adaptation that makes no sense because it's both an adaptation and a sequel. And I have a personal vendetta against this fucking book. The Dark Tower. The worst Stephen King movie ever fucking made. And that's saying a lot when shit like Maximum Overdrive
I was
exists.
just about to mention
No,
Maximum Overdrive.
this is worse than Maximum Overdrive. Because Maximum
Wait,
Overdrive...
like the one that just came out
a couple years ago.
with Matthew McConaughey as the Man in Black?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so get this, alright? So Maximum Overdrive. Pretty bad movie, but it's entertaining and fun, and you don't really need to pay attention to it much,
and
right?
AC/DC's in the soundtrack.
Here's the thing. The Dark Tower, I was excited for this, because this is what I had dreamed of for years. And I'm going to preface this by saying that I really like Idris Elba. I really do. He's a good actor. But the image of Roland painted in the books is this Clint Eastwood type cowboy figure. This is a rough, gaunt looking, battle hardened white man.
Mm-hmm.
And you cast Idris Elba. Idris Elba, again, good actor. Really, really like Idris Elba. He is not Roland. He is not Roland. I don't care what anybody says. No. You don't do that. You can't... people make a big deal out of it when Scarlett Johansson was cast as Motoko in Ghost in the Shell because Kusanagi's Japanese.
Or like in in Deadpool when a black chick was cast as Domino.
I actually like Zazie Beetz as Domino though. I think she's fine.
Well, it's not about the actor. It's about the
character.
There are certain characters that are certain races,
and
that shouldn't be.
And that's the other problem is that Roland in this movie doesn't feel like book Roland because he's just kind of there. That's pretty much his whole deal is I am going to go kill the Man in Black and I'm going to save the Dark Tower. That's his whole character development.
He tries to shoot him and he just reaches back and catches the bullet.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh.
Although I will give that. Matthew McConaughey was a really good choice for the Man in Black.
Randall Flagg, yeah.
Randall Flagg, Martin O'Dim, whatever you want to call him. He is a really, really good Man in Black, and if they ever make another Dark Tower movie and try to readapt the books, please keep Matthew McConaughey.
The Man in Black / Randall Flagg, he is a constantly reoccurring character.
Exactly. Just like the Crimson King and
Randall Flagg / the Man in Black is he who walks behind the rose in Children of the Corn.
That's the other big thing is that Dark Tower seems like too big an ambitious product to make into a movie or TV series or anything because so much of King's work is connected to the tower. Salem's Lot, Children of the Corn, The Talisman and its sequel Black House, The Stand. Uh-huh. There's a short story in Everything's Eventual. They made another book called Through the Keyhole. That is a really, really good book. It's about the tower. Yeah, well, that's the other thing is that Dark Tower seems like too big an ambitious product to make into a movie or TV series or anything because so much of King's work is connected to the tower. They made another book called Through the Keyhole. Wind Through the Keyhole. That's what it's called. I haven't read that one yet.
He just finished The Dome a little while ago.
The Dome. That's also another book that connects to the Tower.
Yeah.
1408. Like, all of these stories connect to the Tower, and the Tower is Keen's magnum opus. This is a book series that he wrote for 20-some-odd fucking years because he wanted to create this big, interconnected universe with his own works of fiction. And making a Dark Tower movie is a lot more difficult than it should be because of that reason alone. Because then you have to start going into the more spiritual aspects of the animal totems, like the turtle that holds the world on its back. You have to discuss the ideology of the tower and the beams that support the world and, like, all this shit. And, like, you have to explain Merlin's rainbow, the fucking magic orbs. And you have to explain all that shit. Father Callahan from Salem's Lot, he's in book 5. Like, they incorporate so much. Every level of the tower is another reality. Like, the Dark Tower is a complicated piece of work, and you have to really know what you're doing to adapt it. And here's the thing. This movie is not only meant to be an adaptation of the first book, The Gunslinger, it's also a sequel to the entire series. So, diehard fans of Dark Tower didn't like it, like me, because it makes no sense, and it's really confusing even if you've read all the books. And newcomers to the franchise also didn't like it because it was boring and because it was confusing. Like, no, The Dark Tower does not work as a movie. And I don't care what Stephen King says. I don't care if he was proud of the end product. It's a shit movie. It is the worst Stephen King movie ever made. For personal reasons. And I fucking hate that movie. I hate that movie. I hate it so much. Oh my god.
Nerd rage.
Oh my god, it's real. It's real. Like here, like I can excuse certain like comic book movies adapting storylines because you can't incorporate that.
On the flip side of that, Stephen King hated.
He hated Kubrick's adaptation of The Shining.
He hated it.
Yeah. That's what confuses me.
He absolutely fucking hated it.
Because Kubrick's Shining
to the point
really
where
good.
to the point where like him and Kubrick didn't talk afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he was like, "You're Stanley Kubrick. You did A Clockwork Orange. You did Cuckoo's Nest. You did all these things.
Yeah.
So here's my book. Take it."
Well, actually, no. Cuckoo's Nest was done by Milos Forman.
Okay, well you
did Strange Love and Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, you did all these things. Here's my book. Make the movie. I trust your creative genius. He goes to the premiere, and he was livid. Apparently, he's like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah, and I don't understand because I read The Shining, and The Shining is a really good book. It's super long.
It is.
It is a super that's the thing about Stephen King's books is that the way he writes them,
they're not quick reads.
They are long books, but only because his writing style makes it feel like you are watching a movie. Everything is explained to such delicate detail, down to like the very fabric that somebody's wearing. And it really helps just build and flesh out the worlds that you're reading.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem is that a lot of his books range between like 600 to 1,200 pages because he just doesn't know when to shut up about the environment and just get to the action.
Well, he was talking with George R.R. Martin, and
oh my god, that's another one.
He was asking George R.R. Martin, he's like, when are we getting the other books? And he's like, I'm working on it. And George R.R. Martin says, how the fuck do you write so fast? He's like, he's like, you can make like 4 books in a year, and I take 5 years to write one book. And he's like, well, I write 6 pages a day.
Yeah.
And 6 pages a day times 30 days, that's 320 pages. That's a book, or at least half a book, or whatever. So I can create several. And he's like, yeah, I make like a book every half a decade.
Yeah. And like that's also the biggest thing, that Stephen King wrote so many books throughout like the 70s and 90s because of cocaine.
Oh, he was cold.
Oh my god, he was coked to the fucking gills.
And it shows in It.
Oh man.
There's a fucking alien that looks like a clown, and he looks like what?
His main enemy's this turtle, but don't worry about the turtle. I'll talk about it in the Dark Tower.
Yeah.
Like, I'll talk about all that shit.
And
also, like, prepubescent kid orgy.
And then he turns into a fucking spider.
Turns into a big spider demon.
And all the kids think that having sex means you're an adult, so they all run train on the one girl. It's like, Steve, stop.
Well, the beginning of the book also opens with a gay couple being harassed at a carnival, and one of them dying because they threw him over a bridge and Pennywise started eating him. He goes hard into the gay bashing in the beginning of that book. I'm pretty sure Stephen King is not homophobic.
But when you're writing a world...
writing a world like that, especially since it takes place in the 80s...
Yeah.
Like, that's to be expected. I'm sorry if people hate hearing this word, but calling a gay man a faggot in the 80s was not seen as a big controversial thing as it is now.
No, it wasn't. And I could make a one-up compare.
Oh, boy.
I don't want it.
Don't say that word.
Okay.
If you were about to say that word, don't say that word.
I'm not gonna be like, you know what? And I'm not gonna
We're not gonna Alex Jones this.
I'm not gonna Alex Jones it, but the word, we all know the one I'm talking about, in Tom Sawyer.
Yep.
It's like it wasn't uncommon.
Or in To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, it's like it wasn't uncommon.
Yeah. It really wasn't.
It was just a product of the times.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that was actually the big thing when I took, I think it was English 10 I read To Kill a Mockingbird. My English teacher, who was also my drama director, looked at the entire class and went, there are mentions of the N-word in this book. If you do not want to say it, you can skip the word completely, or you can say N-word. It's okay, but if you really want to say this word because it's written in the book, I'm not going to get you in trouble for this. So... everybody else who took a turn reading either skipped the word or said N-word, right? But me, one of my buddies, and our teacher had no qualms about saying that word because it's written in the book.
Yeah.
And also, there were maybe like 3 black kids in our high school at any given point.
Yeah.
So, like, what the fuck were they gonna do if they heard us say it? Like, we can just straight up say, look, it's in this book we're reading, I'm not gonna skip it just because it's in there.
I'm that dude who's like...
I'm not going to say it in, like, real life or anything. I'm not going to call anybody that word.
I'm that guy who... I understand it was created as an insult, and I understand all the stigma behind it.
Yeah.
And I understand the idea that they've now adopted it, and it's like... well, that's ours now.
It's not meant to be a word that they can use.
You can't use it. It's like, I understand that, but ignoring the severe stigma that goes with it, or not even actually, because it helps my I'll say point.
Right.
It's an insult, just like every other insult.
No, exactly.
Faggot, whatever.
Cracker,
faggot, cunt.
Yeah.
It's like it has as much power as you give it.
Exactly.
Like, if somebody calls me a faggot, I can be like, whatever, or it can ruin my day. It depends on whatever.
Yeah.
So, I think it's just like obviously don't run around.
No, don't
just
run
yelling
it.
Just yelling it at the top of your lungs, but like, I say it when I'm like singing a rap song or something,
exactly.
and it comes on, so like, whatever. But
yeah. If Eminem and Logic can do it, why can't I?
Seriously. Because we are totally exactly what Eminem and Logic are. I think it was Dave Chappelle. It wasn't Dave Chappelle, but it was somebody who's like, there are 3 white guys that are allowed to say the N-word as many times as they want.
Quentin Tarantino. Yep.
Charlie Sheen.
Yep.
And I genuinely forget who the 3rd one was. But there's something about Quentin Tarantino just like...
straight up being able to use that word.
Where is the sign outside my house
that says dead storage?
That says dead nigger storage?
Yeah.
And he's like, look, man, we were just... No, you're going to answer my question. Where is the sign outside my house that says dead nigger storage? There isn't one, because it ain't fucking there!
Like, there's that scene in Pulp Fiction, like, Django Unchained has the record for the most utterances of that word in anything.
So,
because it's like every other fucking word is that word.
So, to kind of backtrack onto what we were talking about before, when Leonardo DiCaprio was talking to Samuel L. Jackson, he actually stopped filming and he's like, I've never had, like, I'm not comfortable doing this. Yeah. I know it's just a script, but I'm not comfortable using that language.
And then Sam Jackson just kind of pulls him to the side.
He's said,
like,
Motherfucker, this is another Wednesday for me.
Just say the damn word.
Yeah, and then, you know, Quentin Tarantino, I can't remember...
Like, are there any Tarantino movies where that word isn't said?
Because I sure says it in Django.
I'd say at the most maybe Kill Bill. And he wrote it and didn't direct it, but maybe True Romance.
Yeah, maybe, but
because I'm pretty sure they say it in Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, they.
I'm like 90% certain they say it in Reservoir Dogs. You can actually, you can look up a parent's guide on IMDb for, any movies or games or anything. Violence and gore, profanity. Yep. It's 6 times.
6 times.
So, in Reservoir Dogs alone, this was 92. 269 uses of the word fuck.
Nice.
16 uses of shit. 7 uses of goddamn. 4 uses of bastard. 11 uses of hell. 8 uses of piss. 6 uses of... You know, that word. 1 use of faggot, 1 use of cocksucker, and several uses of bitch and dick. That's just in Reservoir Dogs.
I think Wolf of Wall Street holds the record for most swear words in
the
movie.
Probably. Scorsese does not fuck around when it comes to that thing.
Oh god, no, he doesn't.
What else we got? Profanity. Pulp Fiction, 22 uses of the words nigga.
Oh, the soft A.
The soft A. And, that 1 use... Dead nigger storage.
Dead nigger storage.
I love that line so much. Writer from Dusk Till Dawn. Oh yeah. Oh my god, I forgot he wrote that.
He did Dusk Till Dawn.
He wrote that movie. Profanity. Uses of various racist, ableist, and homophobic slurs. 80 uses of fuck used in anger. Other more mild obscenities are also present. So not much. Hateful Eight definitely has a few uses. Just because Sam Jackson's in it. That's... Wait. Yep. 56 times. 56! That's more times than people say fuck in that movie.
Oh, my lord.
Yeah. How many movies has he written?
Quite a few.
30. That's, movies.
That makes it
TV
funnier. That makes it
everything.
funnier because I had a coworker. He is no longer there. This dude was the wettest pussy.
Oh, God.
You know that kid who, 1, tries to be the center of attention all the time?
Yeah.
And 2, no matter what kind of story you tell, he has to one-up you?
Yeah.
We were all punching in at the restaurant, and his name was Zach.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a given right there.
Fucking bitch. And he was also that dude who would throw you under the bus for, a promotion.
Yeah.
And fucking... We were all like, so what'd you do last night? I said, I watched Pulp Fiction.
Oh, no.
He goes, I watched every Quentin Tarantino movie last night. I'm like, well, that's funny, because...
That would take you days.
I'm like, that's funny, because he's written, 3 days worth of movies. He was also the guy who was like, I went to the Up and Smoke tour in 2000, and my boss goes, you would have been 5.
Yeah, right? What the fuck? Okay, yeah, here we go. So, Django Unchained. 116 uses of the N-word.
You mean...
Stop it.
What?
Stop it.
What?
Stop it.
It's just a word, Aaron. It's just a word.
I don't want to get banned on YouTube.
Do you know what kind of videos
there's
are on
worse.
YouTube?
Oh my god, so Once Upon a Time in Hollywood might have the most uses of fucking any Tarantino movie. 135 uses of the word fuck and its derivatives. 135! Are you fucking kidding me? Oh yeah, he wrote Death Proof.
Yo, I love Death Proof.
I forgot he wrote that. There's probably some uses in there too. One. One time. Just one. Grindhouse. As well.
Dude,
Probably also has...
Quentin just decided he could use it, and
nobody stopped him.
And nobody stopped him. I'm like, well, it's too late now. We can't. we can't.
Yep, 3 times. 3 times for that one. That's less than I was expecting. He wrote 2 episodes of CSI.
Oh, God.
That's weird. Kill Bill.
That movie was...
Let's see what's up with Kill Bill. Oh my god. Wow, there's actually not much profanity in Kill Bill. A character has a vehicle with the phrase "pussy wagon" painted in big bold lettering on the back. Several uses of "damn" and "goddamn." Bitch is said at least 5 times. 2 uses of the word "cunt." One utterage of "cocksucker." Shit and ass are said frequently. Bastard is said. And about 20 uses of the word "fuck." That's gonna be like the lowest amount of swears in any Tarantino movie.
Yeah, probably.
Unless Volume 2 has a lot less. Let's see. Whore, ass and asshole are used several times. Goddamn is said at least twice. Fuck is said 30 times. Shit about 10. Cunt is said once in a joking way. And some other language throughout, like bitch, ass, and goddamn. So, yeah, Kill Bill probably has the lowest amount of any of his. He wrote Jackie Brown. I had no fucking clue he wrote Jackie Brown. But it's... constant uses of fuck, shit, nigga, and motherfucker.
If you're a first-time listener, we
don't say this word terribly often. I'm just really curious about how many times Tarantino has put this word in his fucking movies. Natural Born Killers. He didn't direct that one. I forgot he didn't direct Natural Born Killers. He wrote it.
You know what movie I forget all the time Stanley Kubrick directed? Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
I forget all the time that he directed that.
Yeah, isn't it weird?
Yeah, it's like, compared to A Clockwork Orange and The Shining, it's just a war movie.
What? Natural Born Killers has no utterance of that word. What else we got? 4 Rooms. He wrote 4 Rooms. Did you see 4 Rooms?
No, I've seen a sliver of his work.
Oh my god, it's so funny. Profanity. Yeah, okay. The word fuck is used over 100 times in 4 Rooms. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's a vulgar guy.
True Romance. Another movie he wrote but didn't direct. Very good movie, too. Holy shit.
What?
234 uses of fuck.
In
True Romance.
Nothing says romance like
234! Oh my god!
Well, nothing says romance like fuck.
12 uses of shit, 16 uses of ass, 12 uses of hell, 9 uses of goddamn, 9 uses of bitch, 5 of whore, 5 of pussy, 5 of nigger, 4 uses of dick, 4 of Jesus, 3 of asshole, 3 of Christ, 2 of fag, 2 of balls, 2 uses of cocksucker, and 1 use of bastard.
This is the wholesome content that our listeners are...
Like, oh my god. Who is in this movie? Oh yeah, Christian Slater and Dennis Hopper were in this movie. No wonder they swear so many times. But like, holy shit, man. 234 times. That's ridiculous.
Imagine being the dude with the clicker. Like, that's one. That's 2. It's 228.
And that's probably not even including other variations of the word fuck either.
Probably.
So like fucking, fucker, like that kind of thing. Yeah, that's not even including... That might actually be including that. But still, I don't even say that much in a week. And that's in one, like, 2-hour movie.
I work in a kitchen, so I probably say that about that many times.
Oh no, I just saw something. What? Oh no. Guess who's next on the cancel culture block?
Oh god, who?
Ellen DeGeneres.
What the fuck did she do?
Former Ellen DeGeneres show employees allege rampant sexual misconduct and harassment by higher-ups.
Well, higher-ups doesn't necessarily mean Ellen.
But she could be in there. Either way, the fact that she might have known it was a thing and didn't say anything about it makes her just as liable. And there's...
Like Weinstein.
I guess there's a new petition now. Replace Ellen with Space Ghost. Hell yeah, I'd watch that.
You six-piece chicken McNobody?
Nah, you know what? Replace Ellen with us.
Oh god.
Oh my
You've
god.
been canceled. It's been 10 minutes into our first episode. Yeah, you've been canceled.
Yeah. No, we watched your old YouTube videos. You're canceled.
What are we getting canceled for? You said the N-word 15 times in 3 minutes.
Look, we were saying it in context, alright?
You did it? Yeah, we did.
Yeah, But, like, no, that fucking sucks, though. That sucks for Ellen, at least, because she's had that show for, like, what, 20-some-odd years?
She's,
like, way longer?
She's been around.
She's been around for about as long as Oprah was around.
Oprah's still on.
I mean,
She's just on a
is
different...
she on? She has her own network, I know that much.
Own network, and I really want to say she has, not like the Oprah show, but it's a different show that she's on.
Oh, that's weird.
The Talk or something like that.
Maybe, because I know she's not on The View, because Raven Simone's on The View.
Oh, God.
Raven Simone went batshit insane after Disney.
Yes, she did.
You know, because I still love that clip where she goes, I was born in every continent in Africa, and I'm like, bitch, what?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
You know what?
Can you repeat that?
You know
Please.
what? You know what Disney chick I really miss? Ashley Tisdale. I miss her.
Yeah, me too. Brenda Song's still acting.
Yeah. Selena Gomez has a joke of a career.
So does Demi Lovato.
Oh, God.
So does Miley Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus.
You know who I miss? I miss the old Disney starlets. I miss Ali and AJ Michalka and...
Hilary Duff.
Hilary Duff, Tia Tamara Mowry, fucking... Christy Carlson Romano.
Yeah.
Love her. She has her own cooking show on YouTube now where she brings in, like, friends from her Disney days to, like, make meals from shows and whatnot, and, like, other people of pop culture. Like, at one point she had Wolf Friedle on there, so they had a Kim Possible reunion and made the Naco.
Oh, man.
Which is pretty fucking cool. Pretty sure at one point she had one of the Power Rangers on there.
Nice.
A couple other, like, big, like, childhood celebrities and shit like that.
They weren't Disney, but early
I could probably show her stuff to you after we're done with this, because, like, it's fun.
Early Nickelodeons, like, what has Miranda Cosgrove done in the last 5 years?
Does she still act?
I don't know.
Because Jeanette McCurdy's biggest claim to fame after Nick was that her nudes were leaked.
Oh, hell yeah. I had those downloaded for a long time.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
Not a bad looking...
Fuck no.
Oh, yeah, she's in Despicable Me, Miranda Cosgrove.
Oh.
She voices the like, little girl.
Oh, it's so fluffy, I could die.
She was also recently in an episode of The Goldbergs. She was in the music video for Happier by Marshmello, featuring Bastille.
Huh.
Secret Life of Kyle.
So she's, like, in stuff.
She does things here and there. Like, it's not super bad. Like, she's still around.
Yeah.
Thinking of other Nickelodeon stars, like, Ariana Grande has a huge career right now. Victoria Justice kind of faded away.
Josh Peck's a big deal, but, like, Drake Bell kind of fell off.
Drake Bell also kind of fell off.
He like, made music and
He
stuff.
still tours.
Yeah.
He tours for fans and whatnot, and that's cool. Like, I do like that. Fucking Jerry Trainer, who played fucking Spencer and Crazy Steve and all that. Like, I remember watching him on both Drake and Josh and Reba. He's my grandfather.
Enchilada!
No, Dora! Honestly, one of my favorite jokes to my Carly is when he comes out of the elevator, and they're like, What you got there?
With the ostrich.
A smoothie.
With the ostrich.
Yeah, he's got the
He's like, a
ostrich.
smoothie. I love the one where Gibby keeps running and hitting him with a stop sign.
Yeah, that was great. I just love Gibby.
I know, Gibby's...
Gibby!
Gibby's my spirit animal. But,
yeah.
When...
If they remake the Goonies, they could use the guy who played Gibby.
As Chunk.
They could use him as Chunk.
Dude, when...
I would watch that.
When he's Crazy Steve in Drake and Josh, and Drake eats his enchilada, and then he finds out, and he's like, I ate your enchilada, you didn't have your name on it, I'm sorry. And he's like, it's okay, I understand. And he's like, really? He goes, mm-hmm. You're not gonna fly into like a hostile rage? Normally I would, but me and my therapist agreed I can only fly into a hostile rage 3 times a day. And he looks at his watch, he's like, now's not the time. And then like way later in the day, there's an old man walking by him with a cane, and you just hear his watch go beep beep, and he turns it off. He grabs the cane from the old man falls down. He's like, now's the time. And he chases Josh. He's like, you ate my enchilada. He chases him with the cane.
There's so many like good jokes in Drake and Josh. Like I love the fucking video game system where Josh like just goes on about it. He goes, it's spherical.
The game sphere.
The game sphere.
When Josh
Drake,
turns
where's the door? It's right there. Right, but
that's where it was gonna be. He's like, oh, I see the problem.
You think?
When they make the bet that one couldn't go with video games longer than the other couldn't go with candy. So one buys the brand new system and the other turns he Willy Wonka's his entire room. He's like, did you replace my pillow with cotton candy? He's like, yeah. The kiddie swimming pool full of mint chocolate melted.
Oh my god.
With the edible cups.
You know, speaking of shows Dan Schneider made, let's talk about Dan Schneider's foot fetish.
No, let's not.
Let's not.
Let's not.
Let's talk about how weird Dan Schneider is, though. It's like this man.
Yeah.
This man made some of the best shows for Nickelodeon, and also some of the more recent shows that are kind of garbage. But like, this man has worked for Nickelodeon for like 20 years. He made Zoe 101. Do you remember Zoe 101?
Ooh. Yes, I do.
I remember Zoe 101.
Zoe
I was like
101,
5.
Ned's Declassified School Survival
Yeah,
Guide.
I'm pretty sure that was also him.
Yo, the chick from Ned's Declassified,
Oh, she can fucking get it.
Also a childhood crush to
Is
harken
she-
back.
Oh my god, yeah, we were talking about childhood crushes earlier.
Um,
I was around the same age. I would say, honestly, Miranda Cosgrove. Because she's still pretty cute.
I mean, yeah,
like,
she could get it nowadays.
Also, it's not super weird considering when the show first came out, but I did and still kind of do have a crush on Maisie Williams.
Dude, Maisie Williams is mad hot.
Oh, yeah. Lindsay Shaw, that's the girl from Ned's Declassified. Oh my god. Is she still acting? Nope. Wait, yes. Yes, she is.
No. Wait, yes!
Let's see. Her first role was in a 2005 short that I don't care about. So her first actual role was Ned's Declassified.
Yeah.
And then she was on another show for about a year called Aliens in America.
Okay.
Which is about an Indian family.
Oh.
She was in one episode of The 11th Hour. She starred in the TV adaptation of 10 Things I Hate About You.
Okay.
What the fuck is the name of this movie? What?
I think that was the first.
Okay, hold on. Here's the name of a movie she was in. It's in 2010. It's called Nick and Tristan Go Mega Dega.
Yeah!
What the fuck does that mean?
I don't care. That sounds awesome.
She also voiced Tripitaka in the video game Enslaved Odyssey to the West.
This one has to be called Going Negadega.
Going Negadega. Let's see. Another movie called Devolved. A short film called Gideon. Another TV movie called Teen Spirit. She was in a movie called The Howling Reborn.
Oh, the werewolf movie.
Yeah. 16 Love, which is a tennis movie. One episode of Body of Proof. No One Lies. Love Me. I haven't heard of any of this shit. Oh my god. Oh, she was in 45 episodes of Pretty Little Liars.
Oh yeah, that show is pretty popular
Played
for a
some
while.
girl named Paige.
That show is popular for a while.
One episode of Grey's Anatomy post-op. And recently in a movie called Reboot Camp.
Huh.
That's kind of an interesting plot, though. After finding out that his wife has blown their life savings on self-help gurus, Seymour teams up with his brother Danny, a filmmaker, to document how easy it is to start a fake self-help group and con people into believing just about anything. But once started, the Reboot Camp takes on a life of its own and grows into a full-blown cult.
Kind of like,
I don't want to watch that movie. That sounds really good.
Interesting. Kind of like in Accepted, when he makes a fake college, and
Yeah.
then South Harmon Institute of Technology, shit, and then people actually like
Yeah, they apply to this
they
fucking
apply
college.
to college, and the college he makes is they'll take anybody, so he just has this like menagerie of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
they
a
call
good one.
themselves shitheads.
Oh, God. Honestly, it was a little past my time since I stopped watching Nickelodeon shows after iCarly, but I did and still kind of do have a crush on Ariana Grande.
I mean, she's not bad.
She's a
looking.
very attractive woman. I think it was mostly the Love Me Harder music video, because those
Yeah.
fucking bedroom eyes, man.
Dude, when
Those fucking get me.
in
Oh.
iCarly, when you find out that Sam's mom is Jane Lynch.
Oh my god, I forgot about
Yeah.
that. That was so funny.
Yeah, they're like, this episode you meet Sam's mom, and it's Jane Lynch.
Who was still like super big on Glee, like right around that time, right?
Yeah, she was hot on Glee. She was hot on Glee. She was hot on the Role Models movie.
Jane Lynch is the lesbian mom we all wish we had.
Serious, or lesbian aunt for me.
Lesbian aunt, lesbian mom.
Yeah, Aunt
You know.
Jane. Oh,
Like Jane, I would love to have just like a couple drinks with Jane Lynch and just like fucking hang out.
dude,
She sounds like she'd be so much fun
all
to
that
hang
she
out with.
gets down, man. She
Oh
just
man.
parties.
Yeah, she's probably like, yeah, I bet I could drink more shots than you.
And
so she
then-
just lines up a whole thing of shots, and you just gotta like drink more than her. She
And
calls you
when
a
she
pussy.
beats you, she calls you a pussy.
She just starts calling you characters from Glee.
Oh my god.
Oh,
No.
okay. Can we talk about how funny it is that like every couple of jokes in Community they take a dig at Glee?
I actually haven't watched Community.
Oh.
I mean, there's the few clips that everybody knows when Donald Glover opens the door and there's like a fire on the
Yeah,
floor.
okay,
and
so
there's just chaos
For
everywhere.
people who haven't watched Community, that is an episode I highly recommend getting into. Is the episode is called Remedial Chaos Theory.
And then
That is the final alternate timeline in a series of alternate timelines that take place throughout the episode. It is so funny.
and then when Chevy Chase is like, "Cirque so long."
Yeah, they're just along you high-stepping acro bastards.
Acro bastards.
I love that. No, Community's a fucking hilarious show. It's really funny. Dan Harmon is really, really good at writing in that show. Like, I'd honestly say Community is a better show over Rick and Morty.
Do you want to know one of my favorite shows that it was mad popular, but not a lot of people remember nowadays? Scrubs.
See, I didn't watch much of Scrubs. The stuff I have seen is pretty funny, and
It's
it
so good.
makes me want to watch the show, but like I haven't really thought about getting into it.
The guy who plays the janitor didn't even have a script. He just ad-libbed every
Yeah.
episode. And
Honestly, it's a great little Easter egg that Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who worked on Scrubs, also worked on Clone High, and the janitor character in Clone High is voiced by the same guy from Scrubs.
so
Like, it's great.
so JD, Zach Braff's character, JD makes a bet with the janitor that he can learn the name of everybody in the hospital. I think it's like $50.
Right.
And he goes, "All right, if you can memorize the name of everybody in the hospital, I'll give you $50." And so he goes around throughout the day and he learns everybody's name. And he goes to the doctor and they're going through like the staff book. And he's like, "That's so and so. That's so and so. That's so and so." And then he's like, "What's my name?" And he's like, "Janitor." He's like, "No, but what's my name?" And he's like, and he doesn't know.
That's great. I like that.
Sarah Chalk was hot. I loved her. JD or Turk was a great.
Turk's a
co-host.
great co-character. Honestly, I like sitcoms that don't feel like traditional sitcoms, because when you think of a sitcom, you think all sets, laugh track, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then you've got sitcoms like Scrubs and Community.
Yeah.
My Name is Earl, Raising Hope. Like, they count as sitcoms because the comedy is in the situation itself. That is what a sitcom is.
Dude, have you seen those things where it's shows like Full House and Roseanne and you know whatever without the laugh track?
It is so awkward.
Like Friends with no laugh track.
It's so funny just in how awkward it is.
Blah 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 blah.
Joke, and then
just silence, and they just wait for a second because the laugh track has to play. It's so cringy.
Oh, it's so bad. And like that's the thing, is that a lot of sitcoms are like, this was filmed in front of a live studio audience, and some of the time you can kind of believe that.
Yeah.
Other times it's kind of bullshit.
Well, like, Whose Line Is It Anyway was shot in front of a live audience.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Ryan Stiles was my boy.
I love him. No, honestly, I'm gonna get into this just by how much I hate it, but oh my god, not having the laugh track makes Big Bang Theory cringier.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I liked Big Bang Theory at one point.
Here's the I get why people do like Big Bang Theory, because like it's a sitcom. Sitcoms are really popular with old people, and being able to tell basic jokes about nerd culture can make anybody, even the most like basic of fan, go, "Hey, I recognize that," like that kind of thing. But here's the thing: every single joke in that show is usually something like science, relating it to this pop culture thing, comedy. That's that. Or it's just straight up making a reference or going into a nerd rant about like a certain thing that's not factually correct. And like that's every joke in the show, and after a while it starts to get really annoying really fast, and none of the characters are likable. I do not like a single character in that show except maybe what's the fucking Jew's name?
Howard Wallace.
Howard's
the fucking Jew.
Howard's an okay character in a show filled with bad characters.
I think Leonard is kind of a bitch.
Oh, he's just super bitch.
Like, you know, the episodes where him and Penny argue and whatever. I was always hoping that there'd be an episode where, because they would always argue, they'd break up for like a few days, and then they'd make up. Yeah. And I was hoping for the one episode where Leonard would be like, you know what? No, like you're pretty, but I deserve better than you.
And then that never happens.
Of course, because nerd must have hot girl.
Yeah, exactly.
There was one joke Leonard told.
Nerd must have hot girl, but all the other nerds get equally nerdy girls. Like Howard gets Bernadette, and then Sheldon gets Amy, who's an actual real theoretical physicist. Yeah. And I love that. Yeah, I think that's great.
And then Rajesh gets the last episode ever. His date is Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Wait, Sarah Michelle Gellar is on there?
Because Sheldon wins a Nobel Peace Prize, and so he's accepting the award, and he's like, here are my friends, Penny and Howard. Or Penny and Leonard Hofstadter, Howard and Bernadette Wallowitz. Right. And then he looks at it and he's like, Rajesh Kuthar, is that Buffy the Vampire Slayer? And he's like, yeah!
That's actually pretty good.
There was one episode where they had Mark Hamill.
Yeah, they have a lot of cameos from like big name actors that were in like pop culture shit. Like I know they've got
one joke that did make me laugh. It was on their Halloween special. They all show up dressed as the Flash.
Okay, that's
all of
pretty
them.
Good.
And they're like, well, we have to change. He's like, or we could all just run in a line and it would look like one guy running really fast. And then they're like, no.
That's actually kind of clever.
Yeah, they're like, no, we have to change.
No.
And so they're all leaving to their rooms, and you hear Howard or Leonard go, I call Frodo! And they're all like, fuck! And so
that's pretty good.
So Sheldon...
How many cameos were on Big Bang Theory?
There was a lot. Sheldon becomes the Doppler effect. Leonard becomes Bilbo. Or Frodo, sorry. Howard becomes Peter Pan. Or, sorry, Robin Hood, but everybody calls him Peter Pan. And
oh my god, there are so many. Holy shit.
And Leonard, dressed as Frodo, actually ends up kissing Penny at the party.
Oh.
And her, like, big, strong, butch boyfriend at the time saw him do it.
Oh no.
And so Leonard, I guess, is, like, feeling brave. He's like, that's right, you saw what you saw. That's how we roll in the Shire.
That's great.
That's how we roll in the Shire.
Okay, so, yeah, there are some big names that show up in this
Stephen
fucking show.
Hawking was on it a couple
yeah, let's
times.
see. Judy Greer.
Yep.
Fantastic actress. Really good.
She's
Kaylee Kuko's sister shows up.
Judy Greer is actually a reoccurring character.
Oh, that's pretty good.
She's a nymphomaniac, and so
God damn it, I hate it.
so the guys are at her apartment, like helping her move in or something,
right?
And she's like, "Do you guys role play?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we do LARPing, we do D&D," and she's like, "No," like, and then she goes, "Okay, you two are the movers, and you're the landlord, and I don't have enough money for any of you." And then Rajesh is like, "Okay, how about we all go into the hallway and then come in like we're making an entrance?" And she goes, "Yeah, that'll work." And she goes in to like change into her lingerie or whatever. And so they all leave, and Ross shuts the door behind him and locks it.
Okay,
and he's
that's
like,
good.
he's like, "So you can't pay your rent."
Jesus. Yeah, let's see here. Mike Massimino, who works for NASA.
Yep.
Fuck. Laurie Metcalf, that's a big actress. Bill Gates.
Yep.
Bill Nye.
Yeah.
Brent Spiner. Fucking Data.
And Bill Nye played himself.
Yeah. Buzz Aldrin. I'm assuming he played himself.
Yeah. Most of the time they play themselves.
Carrie Fisher. Charlie Sheen. Christopher Lloyd. Ellen. Elon Musk.
Yep.
God fucking damn.
And they all play themselves.
George
basically.
Takei. Howie Mandel. Howie Mandel, holy shit. James Earl Jones. I knew James Earl Jones was in there at some point. Jessica Walter, Judd Hirsch.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Judd Hirsch. Kate McCucci.
Mm-hmm. Great last name.
I wouldn't mind getting in there.
McCucci.
She's kind of cute. Katie Sackhoff, which is surprising. Kip Thorne and Keith Carradine. I'm definitely surprised at Keith Carradine. Holy shit. Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah.
God rest your soul.
God rest
LeVar
your
Burton.
beautiful soul. There's an episode where they...
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, there's an episode where they go to a yard sale, and they find a box of just junk. And he's like, Mr. T's body, Spock's head, Mr. T's head on Spock's body. And he's like, I pity the fool who's illogical.
That's great.
And they find a prop of the One Ring
Stephen
from...
Hawking.
They find a prop of the One Ring from the Lord of the Rings, and they find out it's real. And so they all start fighting over it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Let's see. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yeah, that's a shock. Regina King. Wow, holy shit. William Shatner.
Yep.
Stan Lee.
Stan Lee was a
not
great
surprised.
one.
Stephen Hawking. Yep. Steve Wozniak. Damn.
Yeah.
Summer Glau. That's even more impressive. Adam West. God rest your soul too. Oh, yeah. No, that's wow. That's impressive. That's an impressive amount of guests.
Yeah. And they all played themselves, too, which was the best part. Because the Adam West one, they're all talking about who their favorite Batmans are. And Adam West is in the car with them.
Okay.
And they're like, you're an icon, but mine goes to Bale. And he's like, I don't blame you for that. But can we all agree that I'm better than that clown Clooney? And they're all like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I do like that. Oh my god. You know, I guess that is something I'll give Big Bang Theory, is that they got such massive nerd cred having all those guests show up.
Yeah.
And especially with, like, big name actors and celebrities. Like, that's pretty impressive. It will still never change my opinion that Big Bang Theory is garbage and that I hate it because it's nerd blackface. It's making nerds look like a bunch of pathetic losers the whole time, and that all of their humor comes from references and making quotes from certain things. And that's still not entirely true, like untrue, because I do that occasionally, but like I'm not some pathetic dweeb. who can't get the girl. If I really put myself out there and like made an impression, I could probably get a girl. Like no problem. Just because I'm incredibly nice. I'm approachable. I'm not in bad shape, but like it's still not good.
I'm not too confident in myself in terms of physicality and being able to.
I'm not either, but that's the thing. Is a lot of girls
girlfriend.
like bigger guys these days. So
That's true, but I'm not too confident in myself. But I will say, like, there's more to me than just Star Wars clothes.
Exactly. Like being a nerd is pretty much my whole life, but I have other interests outside of nerdy things.
Yeah, it's like I have fears, I have wants, I'm not just some, ironic because of the show, but I'm not some pile of pop culture references.
Exactly. So, like, Big Bang Theory, if you like it, you like it. That's fine. I have my own personal preference of sitcoms that I do enjoy that other people probably don't like as much, but they're still great to me. Like I love Frasier. Frasier's a really funny show, but that's because most of the humor is dry. It's a dry humor.
Seinfeld-ish.
Yeah, well, a little more dry than Seinfeld. A lot of Seinfeld has just been the scenario that they're a bunch of like 20 to 30 something like nobodies.
Yeah.
Frasier is like a high-end lawyer who's just trying to make it in life, and like everything just keeps going wrong.
I'll be honest.
And also Kelsey Grammer, fucking love you, Kelsey Grammer. You're awesome.
I'm about to lose a lot of fans right now. I don't hate it. It's not like I have a vendetta against it. I didn't enjoy Friends that much.
I don't either. I think Friends is a super overrated sitcom.
It's because of the star power it had.
Yeah, it has like some good jokes
Lisa Kudrow, Jennifer Aniston,
maybe
Courtney Cox,
3
Matt
good
LeBlanc.
characters.
Yeah,
like Joey's entertaining to a point up until he starts to get really annoying.
Season 1 and 2 of Ross was great, and then he turned annoying.
Yeah, and then there was that one part where Courtney Cox's character was like dating Burt Reynolds for a little while.
Yeah,
like that's a little weird. Yeah. I mean, I don't blame her because Burt Reynolds, but like
Burt Reynolds is all that is man.
Burt Reynolds was the first man to ever do a nude photo shoot for a magazine, and it is a glorious image.
Ew.
You don't see his dick. He's fully naked. He's lying on like a bearskin rug or something. He has something covering his junk.
Oh.
But like he was the first male celebrity to do a full nude photo spread for a magazine, and that's some big props for fucking Smokey there.
Smokey and the Bandit, baby.
Love Smokey and the Bandit. Love Smokey and the Bandit. But like, yeah, like Friends is kind of an okay sitcom. I don't think it's nearly as good as people make it out to be, and I think it's horribly overrated. But that doesn't mean it's terrible. I reserve terrible sitcoms to something like Full House.
Whoa.
Fuck Full House.
Whoa.
No.
Uncle Jesse and the Rippers were tight.
Okay, Uncle Jesse's the one exception.
Uncle
to that
Joey
show.
was tight too.
2 exceptions. And the dog.
And the dog.
And the dog.
I won't press it. Uncle Jesse, Uncle Joey, who lived in the basement.
Yeah, Bob Saget outside of Full House, fucking riot. I love him. Bob Saget's amazing. Bob Saget in Full House, I can't fucking stand him. I cannot stand any character in Full House except Joey, Jesse, and that fucking dog. Comet,
that's
Comet,
right.
Yep. Because they named him after fucking cleaning brand.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, Full House is
Candace Cameron, DJ was...
Here's the thing. I don't like Full House because it's too cutesy and feel good. A lot of it comes from the fact that a lot of the comedy is derived from these realistic situations that have a good moral at the end, and a lot of the comedy comes from the little kid characters.
And Joey.
Like, that's pretty much what all the comedy comes from, and that makes it really boring, and it doesn't really hold up all that well.
Yeah.
It's pretty bland, and it's way too cutesy. I don't mind cute things, but like, there's a limit. Full House exceeded that limit after like 3 episodes.
I would say Fuller House.
Fuller House is even worse garbage.
It is.
It is still garbage.
I'd feel like when Michelle, the Olsens, but Michelle got a little older and they were able to do more, it was okay, because then it was about the 3 different stages of
Right, but when Michelle got older, they introduced
a kid,
more
a teen, and an
babies.
adult. And then they're like, oh shit, we still need babies.
So they introduced...
Get Lauren Laughlin pregnant. Like,
yeah, get Lauren Laughlin pregnant. There's twin boys, and they introduce a dog.
Yeah.
Because...
Well, Comet was always there.
See, here's how you can tell that a sitcom is about to die, and it's a tried and true fact. A sitcom is about to die, and it's reaching its last legs when characters start getting married.
Yeah.
When characters start getting married and new characters start getting introduced, that's when a show is on its last legs, and it won't last more than, like, 2 more seasons.
Yeah.
At least. Full House did it. Fresh Prince actually didn't do it. But Fresh Prince ended pretty naturally.
Fresh Prince was a great show.
Fresh Prince is so good.
You cannot change my mind.
I haven't honestly seen much of Frasier. I maybe saw the first 2 seasons, so I don't know how that ended. Big Bang Theory. Everyone gets married.
Futurama.
Futurama's an exception. The ending to that show is so fucking good.
Well, they were like, we're done. We want it to end while it's still good.
But we want to give people a chance to be able to rewatch
We
it.
don't want to do 2 more seasons of lackluster.
Yeah.
But like, just in case we want to have this fallback, which if you haven't seen the ending of Futurama, Fry and Leela.
It made my ex cry every single time she would rewatch that episode.
Fry tries to propose to Leela, and the professor gave him a machine because Fry's like, I really don't want to screw this up.
Yeah.
And so the professor said, I've made a time machine, but it only rewinds time by 15 seconds.
Exactly.
So if you screw something up, hit this button, you'll go back, only you.
And there's a great running joke for like
seconds.
2 or 3 minutes where Fry's falling down this like
the
Vampire State Building.
He trips
it's
and
called
falls.
the Vampire State Building.
He trips and falls down the Vampire State Building, and when he hits the button, he was already falling.
Yeah.
So he just keeps hitting the button, and he just keeps falling from the same place that he was, hoping that.
And I don't remember how it happens, but he ends up breaking the switch, and it pauses all of time.
So.
He falls on
the
something.
The professor was in
no, Benders uses an airbag.
So the professor was somehow in a space that didn't occupy time, so he was immune from the reversal.
Until he left it.
So he grabs Bender, and they travel in this room to where Fry is. It's a whole episode, but...
Yeah.
Fry, he used it too much, and it broke. So instead of rewinding time 15 seconds, it freezes time.
Yeah.
And only him and Leela, because Leela was touching him, so him and Leela are the only 2 that are immune to the time freeze.
For a montage of over 50 years, they're just like exploring the world.
Yeah, it's like 50 or 60 years. Time's frozen. They get married with all their friends, like mannequined.
Yeah.
They can walk on the ocean.
Yeah, that was super cool.
Because time's frozen. And they just spend their lives together.
Yeah,
and
it's a super cute ending. If it had ended like that, it would have been fine.
But
Farnsworth comes back through a wormhole.
Professor Farnsworth comes back from a wormhole, and he goes, "Good news! One of my blah 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 blah. I knew this was gonna happen, so I built another time machine. Come through this wormhole, and we'll go back to before I gave you the device. But." I'm pretty sure he said something like going back to the beginning or something. Going back to the beginning. But you won't remember your entire marriage.
Yeah, and then it's beautiful too because Fry looks at Leela and goes, "You want to go for one more trip?" And she goes, "Yeah."
What do you say about going round again? And she said, "I do." And they walk into the wormhole, and it closed.
And then it ends.
And then it's like executive producers, and I'm like,
yeah. And the way it's set up is that it's actually so perfect because then you can actually just rewatch the whole series from scratch because it's just a perfect time loop.
It's
so beautiful.
I love how every once in a while Futurama would just sprinkle in an episode that just destroyed your soul.
Yeah, fucking...
The dog episode.
Fry's dog. Bender finding out, like, who Inspector Number 5 was. The song alone makes me tear up whenever I hear it.
Yeah.
The visual makes me fucking cry.
Bender finds out who approved him because he wasn't perfect and therefore should have been destroyed. He finds out who created him. Fry finds out about his dog.
His nephew, Philip Fry Jr.
He thinks that his brother stole his name, and then he finds out that his brother named his son after him.
And buried him with the 5-leaf clover.
And buried him with his lucky clover.
Yeah.
And his nephew's plaque says, named after his uncle in honor of his spirit.
Oh.
And then
there's
forget
also
about
the episode
me.
where at the end of it he has a conversation with his mom in his dream.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Futurama
and he hugs her and she hugs him, and it's just so like wholesome but heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And then
I also really like the episode where like you find out who Lars is, and it's actually Fry in hiding.
Yeah, and then the episode where Leela finds out that she's not an alien, she's a mutant.
Yeah.
And the difference is mutants are like kind of
they're third-class citizens.
They're third-class citizens. They have to live underground.
I'll say they're not even second-class. Like, second-class citizens can live in poor ghettos.
Like, they have to live underground. That's how much they're hated. And they have, like, tentacles for arms and stuff. But Lilo was just born with one eye. That was her only thing. So her parents are like, we're just going to fake an alien language. We're going to pass you off as an alien so you can have a relatively normal life. And then Leela finds out that she's a mutant. And she goes to see her parents, and it turns out that her parents subliminally have been there her whole life. Like they would reach through the heating vent in her bed or in her room and rub her head when she was sleeping as like a good night thing. They would slip a birthday card through her drains and shit. It's so sad.
Oh. See, that's the thing. Futurama managed to end a show after a certain number of years and actually managed to make some really good dramatic episodes too.
Yeah.
And yet they could never replicate that with The Simpsons. A show that's been going on for almost 40 years now.
I don't like The Simpsons.
I don't either. There's a few good episodes.
Like The Simpsons movie I enjoyed.
That's really funny. It's pretty good.
It is funny. I just don't...
A lot of the best Simpsons episodes are between seasons like 7 and 13. And maybe the Treehouse of Horrors. Like, it's really specific what skits from what Treehouses of Horrors are good. Like, the Shinning. Oh my god, the Shinning episode's so great. So, it's essentially a parody of The Shining. And, like, this is in a world where obviously The Shining exists. It's a movie. So, Bart goes, oh my god, I have The Shining. And Willie goes, you mean The Shinnin'? And he goes, no, The Shining. He's like, shh, you want to get sued?
I do love the
steamed hams.
I do love the red bearded janitor. I think his name's
Willie.
Willie, and he's like they ruined it. Like Star Trek, like
Star Wars ruined. Like Star Wars fans ruined Star Wars.
Or he's like, yeah, they ruined Star Wars, or we don't get along like Star Wars fans and Star Trek fans, or Star Wars fans and other Star Wars fans. Damn Star Wars fans. They ruined Star Wars!
Like, there's that one. I love the steamed ham skit.
The one episode I bothered to watch, Bart wants to play a prank on Homer, so he puts one of his beers in a paint mixer.
Yes!
And he opens it, and it's an atomic explosion of beer.
Explodes.
And he gets put into a coma.
Yeah.
And it's only after Bart says, I shook your beer, that Homer is just so enraged that he opens his eyes and chokes Bart.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's like, oh, parental abuse.
Like, two of my favorite episodes from the entire series are both early seasons. Like, I think season 7 or 8. No, one of them's from season, 3. There's Bart Gets an F, which is a really good episode. The entire episode is Bart studying and, shutting off all of his friends and family because he really wants to move on to the next grade and not get an F on this test. And he ends up still failing, but just barely. And the teacher looks disappointed at him for a second until she realizes that he's crying. And he goes, no, I'm serious. I really tried my hardest and studied hard to pass this test. I don't understand how I still failed. And out of the goodness of her heart, she changes his grade to a D so he can move on.
Hey.
Which is super cute. And then there's Marge versus the Monorail. I love that fucking episode so much. Mostly because of the Monorail song sung by Conan O'Brien.
Oh my god.
Oh god, I'm trying to remember the fucking song. It's so good. Like let me see if I can.
And then there was the crossover where The Simpsons met Family Guy and that whole thing.
Yeah.
And they find out that Duff Beer and Pawtucket Pat are the same beer with different labels.
So during the monorail song, when he's like trying to hype up the idea of Springfield getting a monorail, a bunch of townsfolk from Springfield are like piping up, and like he like assuages their fears with like all these cool things about the monorail because he's a scam artist.
Yeah.
So because so one of them goes, I heard those things are awfully loud. And he goes, it glides as softly as a cloud. Is there any chance the track could bend? Not on my life, you're my Hindu friend.
Oh my god.
What about us brain-dead slobs? You'll be given cushy jobs. Were you sent here by the devil? No good sir, I'm on the level.
Oh my god.
The ring came off my pudding can. Take my penknife, my good man. I swear it's Springfield's only choice. Throw up your hands and raise your voice. Monorail. Like, I love the monorail song.
Oh my god.
It's so good.
No.
Well, sir, there's nothing on earth like a genuine, bona fide, electrified 6-car monorail.
Please stop.
It's so funny. It's so good. I love it.
Then there's Brian's Bag of Weed song from Family Guy. A bag of weed.
I actually just found out recently that... you remember that episode where Peter joins the Patriots and he goes into a song and dance number?
Shapoopy.
Yeah, that's from a real musical.
Yeah.
It's from Guys and Dolls.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I had no idea until recently. I was like, I just thought it was a song they came up with. Nah, it's from fucking Guys and Dolls.
Tom, could you get me a wet cloth? Sure, Peter. And could you also get a second wet cloth for I vomited on this gentleman's bare lap? Wet the towel? Wet the towel, Tom?
Oh god, I haven't watched Family Guy in years.
It's
gotten worse from what I've seen.
Stewie's gone from evil genius to in the closet gay.
Yeah, well, not even in the closet gay. Like he's pretty out there.
Brian's gone from like an aristocrat to just kind of
Alcoholic douche.
an alcoholic liberal douchebag.
I think they stopped making fun of Meg entirely.
They just do the shut up Meg at this point.
Yeah, at that
Shut
point.
up, Meg.
I think the only character that literally hasn't changed much is Chris.
There's an episode where Meg legit just goes nuts on them eventually.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
She's like, look at yourself, Peter Griffin. You are just another alcoholic, obese, Irish lame excuse of a father.
Oh.
Just like yours was. You're just like him. And he's like, these are mean things you're saying to me. And he starts crying. And then Lois is like, you need to be more respectful of your father. And she's like, I do not need to take any kind of reprimandation from you, who cheats on her husband regularly, who has a god complex. You think you're better than everybody. You're a spoiled rich kid who grew up with a silver spoon in her mouth, and you think you're better than everybody. You cheated on your husband so many times. And she's like, I can't wait until I turn 18 because I'm going to move out and I'm never going to speak to you again. And I hope you live with that. And she starts crying, and then she's like...
There's going to be an episode someday where Mila Kunis just goes, you know what, I've had enough of being on the show, and just leaves, and that's the episode they're going to make Meg turn 18, so that way they can do that.
Yeah.
Because how are you going to recast Meg again?
You can't.
Because, like, I'm pretty sure the original actress either left or died or something, and then Mila Kunis came in.
Left, I think.
I think she left. Because I remember the original voice actress for most of the women in South Park died.
Yeah.
And there was that one episode where, like, all the female characters were just quiet.
And then...
For no reason other than the fact that the woman died.
And then, I don't know what exactly he did, but the guy who voiced Chef got fired from the show.
Yeah, Isaac Hayes got fired because he was a Scientologist.
Yeah,
and he did not like the jokes they were making about Scientology.
Yeah, so he fucked off.
And then they killed him.
They're like, alright, we're going to make him a pedophile, then he's going to get eaten.
Yeah, no, fair.
Yeah.
Like, I actually feel really bad knowing that I was a fan of Isaac Hayes at one point, now that I know that he's a Scientologist.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm going to be honest, if you're a Scientologist, I don't fuck with you. That's why I don't watch Tom Cruise movies.
Yeah, if you're a Scientologist and you're listening to this and you're offended, you deserve to be.
Eat shit.
So
you joined a cult based around a science fiction author
that you have to pay to be a part of.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, exactly. It's not like it's not like the Christian church where you give money for donations.
No, you have to pay.
You have to pay to be a part of this cult.
Yeah.
Essentially, that follows the stories of this crackpot sci-fi.
L. Ron Hubbard is a sham.
Fuck you. like seriously, fucking. I'm really glad there's only been one movie made from L. Ron Hubbard's works, and that was Battlefield Earth.
Yeah.
Because my god, that movie's a fucking train wreck. Oh god. Ugh. So.
Now that we've gotten our blatant hatred out of the way.
For everything, pretty much, yeah. Oof. I didn't even think about what to recommend for this week. What did I read recently?
Not anything that L. Ron Hubbard wrote.
No, I refuse to. You know, that's a good choice, but I'm not going to recommend that. Fuck, what did I read recently? You know, I'm going to recommend Spectacular Spider-Man by Chip Zdarsky.
Alright.
Spectacular Spider-Man is a long-running comic series for Spider-Man that's been around since, like, I think the 70s. And it's, you know, it's been picked up and dropped a couple times, usually to, like, flesh out Spider-Man's world a bit more and, like, give a different side of the story, that kind of thing. And the most recent version of Spectacular Spider-Man for the first 4 volumes was written by Chip Zdarsky. Yeah, I smell that too.
Yeah.
Chip Zdarsky is a really good writer and artist who's done work recently for a Star-Lord solo series after the Guardians were grounded on Earth for a little while.
Nice.
After Civil War II. That's how I got into his writing. He also wrote 3 volumes of a Jughead series for Archie Comics. He co-created and does the art for an Image comic called Sex Criminals, which he writes, or which he does the art for with Matt Fraction, who wrote the Hawkeye series from like 5 years ago. Also, highly recommend that if you want to get into Hawkeye. And recently, he wrote Spectacular Spider-Man, and there's a lot of really good issues in that run of like really dramatic storytelling and like really good personal stories for Peter, including the final one that he wrote for the series, which was also drawn by him. And it's the whole story about this college kid making a documentary about Spider-Man and his impact on the New York people, like just on New York in general. And he interviews like, you know, random people on the street. Like he interviews this like guy who runs a hot dog cart that Spider-Man saved once. So now he gives Spider-Man free hot dogs every day for like the rest of his life. Nice. And it's actually great. Like he's thankful that Spider-Man saved him, but he fucking hates that Spider-Man like frequents his food cart. It's hilarious. There's one where this guy and his daughter are being interviewed, and she's getting Spider-Man confused for Daredevil. Like that one's really funny. But the main focal point of the story is this one woman whose son's life was impacted by Spider-Man because he was paid $50 by like these wannabe bank robbers to be a lookout, so that way they could like get the money and get out. And Spidey saved him from going to juvie, so he decided to like take an impact on this kid's life and like, you know, help him with his schoolwork and get him on the right track and all that. The game banners get out on bail and kill the kid.
Ooh.
So the next couple of pages are completely wordless. And it transition, like, it's Spidey showing up to the apartment that the mom and her kid live in, knocking on the window. Nobody's there. So he rings their buzzer. Nobody comes out. And as he's about to leave, the mom runs out and hugs him in tears. And then the next shot you see is the 2 wannabe bank robbers in a warehouse, like, hiding from the cops.
Yeah.
And it's really scary when Spider-Man doesn't say anything when he beats people up.
Yeah.
It is terrifying. Because this man is a quippy jokester.
Yeah.
So when he doesn't say anything, you're fucked. Just ask Kingpin.
Seriously.
No, seriously. There's a great issue of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man that does that. But, yeah, the final shot of that one little moment is Peter unmasking himself like on the roof of a building and just crying because somebody else in his life died. And it just gets to him. And the final moments are Spider-Man confronting the kid making the documentary and like asking him what's up. And the guy gives his own example of how Spider-Man changed his life. and why he wanted to make the documentary. And before he leaves, the dude looks at him and goes, "So wait, how did you hear I was making a documentary?" And the final page is Peter Parker being interviewed.
Ooh.
And he goes through this whole thing about, like, yeah, I've been friends with Spider-Man for years. You know, I took pictures of him. He helped pay my rent. When I made my own company, like, I hired him on as a bodyguard. Like, he means a lot to me in my life.
Nice.
And, like, all that stuff. And it's more like a personal fan comic that Chip Zdarsky wrote. Because he just loves Spider-Man so much. So, like, yeah. Spectacular Spider-Man by Chip Zdarsky specifically. Fantastic book. It's really good. I highly recommend it. You can get it for cheap pretty much anywhere. The 5th volume is also okay if you want to read a tie into Spider-Geddon, but you don't have to. So yeah, that's the recommendation of the week. Spectacular Spider-Man. For any more updates on the podcast, if you're watching this on YouTube, for example, down in the description will be the link to my Twitter. So you can follow me on that, and it'll give you updates on when new episodes are released, and any maybe future changes we make to the channel, like if we start, I don't know, streaming or something, that kind of thing. Like, you know, they'll be on there as well. I also go on rants and nerd tangents about shit all the time on there, so
and
like
sometimes the famous people he talks about write back.
That's also true. I have had a numerous comic book writer and artist, and even some like actual celebrities straight up like and share my shit. And
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
It's kind of a personal achievement of mine, and I really love that.
Yeah, that's pretty dope, actually.
So until next time, I'm Eric the Law Warden.
I'm Greg Tittles Muzzy.
Oh, you're changing your nickname now. You're going back to Tittles?
What was it?
You called you were good guy Greg.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I mean, you can be Tittles if you want.
Well, Tittles was my high school
Tittles
nickname.
was your high school nickname. Mine was just straight up the Warden.
Yeah.
So, like...
I'm Greg Tittles Muzzy.
Yeah. And we're signing off. So until next time, take care and read more comic books.
Read more comics.